All right, everyone, welcome back for a latest edition of AEF's podcast. Wow, it's been a while. I'm Rob Star. Thank you so very much for joining us, all of you here. Unfortunately, I do have some bad news. The Holy Grail himself is not here today. I know. Okay, yes, thank you. I get it. Wow, Jesus. Okay, thank you, everyone. I get it. I know. Thank you. Calm down. Right, we're good. I know he's not here. I'm not thrilled about it. But, it is what it is. He's talented. I love him to death. He's a busy man. He's the Holy Grail. At first, it was a Swiss Army knife, but then he opened up the Holy Grail because he's everywhere. He can do everything. And it just so happens I lied. He's actually here. Yeah, I figured as much. Yep, thank you. Yep, there's the cheering. Oh, wow. Yeah, thanks. That's great. Well, here he is, everyone.
Frankie D, the Holy Grail.
Yeah, the Holy Grail. Jeez, that's the last time we have a studio audience, for God's sakes.
I like them.
Yeah. There's no bias whatsoever.
No.
Jeez. Well, Frankie D, welcome back, buddy. It's good to be back doing another latest edition of the AEF podcast. I'm excited.
Yeah.
A lot's happened since we did one of these, huh?
A lot. Quite a bit has happened, actually.
Yeah. Where to begin? Eli Manning is no longer the quarterback for the Colts. He's being benched.
Right. Spider-Man's no longer part of the MCU.
Right. Yeah. Spider-Man's taken a very large hiatus. Hopefully those corporations can figure it out for the sake of all humanity.
Right.
Some latest news, Antonio Brown is no longer a Patriot, but he's not with the NFL probably for the rest of the year. God riddance.
What's his name is no longer part of the Raptors.
Oh, yeah, Kawhi Leonard. But
yeah.
We did a handful of shows prior to that.
Did we?
Oh, yeah. It hasn't been that long. It's been a while.
It hasn't
been too long. It hasn't been that long. That's I mean, those wounds are still fresh, though, so I guess that hurts. But yeah, lots going on. It's because last time you and I did this, we were really amped for the premiere.
The premiere, August 10th.
Yep.
Yeah, that went off without a hitch. I guess we can start there.
Yeah. First and foremost, on behalf of Frank and myself, we want to thank everyone who came to the events and the premiere for Enchanted Mafia: Dark City. That was a great turnout. A lot of great friends and family came. Obviously, the wonderful cast and crew were there to just kind of really share the moments of everything that people had contributed to the whole production for a full calendar year.
Yep. And everyone, from my knowledge, looked like they had a great time. They enjoyed themselves. Everybody was friendly to each other.
Yeah.
It was good. There was nothing. Everyone enjoyed what was on screen, so everything was great.
Yeah, we talked about that in the sense that we wanted to construct a good culture, and it really showed with everyone coming there. A lot of people didn't know each other were coming because it was again friends and family who were just special guests that were allowed. They got the invitations to come to the premiere, and all around good positive vibes.
Good positive vibes. What was interesting that I didn't think I would get. I'm sure you got as well, Rob. Was people coming up to me and pitching like, oh, if I was this character, or even Father Time was there, he was pitching storylines to us, wanting to continue the stories, right?
Exactly.
So that was kind of interesting. That made me hopeful because people want to see this, and we'll just make more.
Oh, definitely. I've said it many times, and I'll continue to say it. I'm really, really excited for what's to come and what we've done so far. And it was just really nice to kind of see everyone's positive reactions to what we'd accomplished so far. And yeah, like you said, there's a lot of people who were coming forward asking us about possible options of what the characters might do in the future.
Yep.
People who have such a passion for it that they want to reoccur again. They loved working with us, and they just loved their opportunity they got to do as minor roles or major roles.
Even if they died, they still wanted to be, is there a way I could come back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we always said that anything was possible. We just had to figure it out how it would work for story purposes, but we didn't always want to close the door on people exactly in that sense.
Yeah.
We like everyone we've worked with so far has just been a real refreshing presence to be around, and positive and very helpful at the same time. So we can't thank you enough. If you were involved in every which way of this production so far, we thank you so much. Whether you even have just been to loan us a moment of your time behind the scenes or in front of the camera. It goes a long way, and we really appreciate it going forward.
Yeah. There was one thing I wanted to do at the premiere. I don't want to say what it is because we can still technically do it, which I think we'll do it on set on an upcoming production,
Right.
And film it at the same time. That way we can put it out there.
Right.
I don't want to go too much in depth about that, but you know what I'm speaking about.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I honestly want to say, just going forward, we'll probably have at least another one of these special occasions. The venue was very nice. They
The
were
venue
very
was
accommodating.
perfect, fantastic.
Yeah, shout out to Imperial Pub downtown Toronto, near Yonge and Dundas. They
Yep.
were very, the staff was wonderful, very helpful, and yeah, they were really accepting of what we were doing and enthusiastic about us in general.
I think
being
what threw them off is once you closed that gate, I remember one of the waitresses saying like, "Oh, it's exclusive." Like it was almost we were bringing a high class party to that little pub.
Well, yeah, I mean, we did. Yeah, we were working with a guest list and a dress code. We kind of prided ourselves just making it feel really special, because it was a special thing.
Yeah,
a lot of effort and a lot of dedication went into making this possible, i.e., the event possible, but also making Enchanted Mafia Dark City. So we thought, just to give it that that special respect, to have something along the lines of a premiere and giving the cast and crew an opportunity to really see firsthand the work that they have done on screen.
Mm-hmm. Also, I want to do because he was at the premiere. He was also in episode 3. Keith Grouchow.
Yes.
He was very. Normally, I help him every year whenever he does a Comic-Con, Fan Expo, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very gracious of lending a small corner of his table to help promote Enchanted Mafia, because he was in it. So I just want to thank him for doing that.
Definitely. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, we had I printed off a postcard, which one side was his face, the other side was the Easter Bunny, which was my face, and I wore a mask the entire time I was there of the Easter Bunny. So thank you, Keith, for allowing us to do that.
Yeah, Keith has been good, and we're hopefully we can work with him again. I mean, we've talked about working a little bit with him in the future. In many aspects of just almost Elite Films productions in terms of
Yeah. Well, he came up with some interest when we were during the Fan Expo, and there were some downtimes. We were talking about future storylines for Mafia, which I'm not going to get too much into. But some of the ideas he had were like spot on, fantastic. It's like, I want to bring this in and do that.
Yeah.
So So he did more than just help putting that postcard on the table.
Yeah, it's there are a lot of people who have had multiple roles within just contributing to our productions, whether it be just new, fresh ideas.
Yeah.
Which is respectful, because at the time, right now at this moment, we don't have a full-fledged writing team.
Right.
More or less, you're the brains. You put it all together. I've come up with a handful of different little ideas or switches here and there, but more or less, you're the one who maps it all out. So it's nice to have some people go in depth with some of their own individual characters.
Yeah.
And try to discover, maybe a little bit of some depth behind who they are, or where they came from, and what they're all about, especially in that universe.
Yeah. What I like about that too is, it kind of reminds me. It kind of reminds me like I'm Vince McMahon, and I have these wrestlers who are coming up to me saying like, "Well, my character, I think we should do this." And then, we work, or I work with them and bring in, like, okay, this idea works, but that idea doesn't work. And then, like, we work together. To me, what I sort of kind of start to see a little bit of is there's a community forming, which I like, because I think I've done an acting program, improv your acting, where it felt community-based. And even though, like, I was in one class, somebody else was in the other, we still knew each other, and we still hooked up on a community kind of aspect, which I like how AEF is becoming, because as a community, I think you're, I wrote it down somewhere. You said it before, which was good. It is, where is it here? Making artists feel better to be better.
Right.
And I think that's perfect, because as a community, we kind of work together, bringing our own unique talents, no matter what it is.
Exactly.
And then work together to be better.
When I thought about that, it was just one night. I was kind of just writing some stuff for something that we're kind of working on in the basis. We're kind of in the middle of filming, and I was just I was thinking about again going back to the culture we want to have at AEF, and we didn't want to have any necessarily, especially for people who've never really done any type of acting or any type of performing,
Yeah.
or even behind the scenes or whatever, like to say, hey, listen, we have expectations, but we're not going to put you through the grinder to say, hey, we're learning just as much as you.
Yeah.
Every single day, even if we've done this, for many years, there's always something new to learn as an actor. There's always something new to learn as a director, whether how long you've ever been doing it. And even when, people might come and say, I don't know, I haven't done this in a long time, it's to kind of give that comfortable, relaxed, but also, professional culture that we want to establish. And it's, to make people feel better and be better. And, and that's where I kind of just kind of worked with it, and I worded it just to make it more of like a friendly, open slogan.
Yeah.
It's not always going to be easy, but it's fun. And if you're committed to it, and we see you're committed to it, we're never going to get angry. I mean, we haven't had, bless our souls, we haven't had any issues with anyone on our sets and our productions to the point where it caused, so much turmoil. And more or less, it's been a very relaxing, good quality vibe with all the actors, the performers, behind the scenes staff. Kat was here, almost 2 months ago, and she said it herself, the way we've handled things. And, she's firsthand, because I met her through you when we did the first pilot film. And even then, that was my first experience on working on something, like that. And it was very relaxed. There wasn't pressure.
Yeah.
And
just so people know, it's Kat, the makeup artist that we always
Kat.
work with, who plays Anxiety in,
yes.
in Enchanted Mafia, who's going to get her own spin-off show just called Anxiety. And it's just 30 minutes of her talking. No, just kidding.
I still vouch for a full-fledged monologue, but we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Which is nice. But yeah, she definitely exclaimed the fact that that's what we're going with, and I pride myself that we keep that wholesome, and we keep that intact.
Yeah,
because I think from there it's more welcoming to a lot of different people who would find interest in this. Definitely,
from people who who are just starting in the business to people who I haven't been in the business for like 2-4 years, whatever, and now I'm jumping back into like almost like ring rust, acting rust, to someone who's experienced and just went, I just want to act, right? It's that's what I think I pride myself more on about, this. All these people from different stages in their career can come together. The one thing I always look out for, because I remember Kat even saying every time I pick people, they're people who kind of mesh well, who have the positive attitude, who makes it fun, right?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing I'm always looking for. If there's any kind of ego, again, I brought this up so many times. Speaking of ego, and here I am, Frankie D, the Holy Grail. But there's a certain kind of ego which I don't like, which I've seen on I haven't seen on our sets, but like on professional sets, where I know you can be frustrated. I know it can be a long day.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you're coming in and I could see that you don't want to be there, then don't be there. Just go do something else, because you're taking a spot from someone who wants to be there.
Definitely.
I remember I was sitting just to bring it up, it's Race for the White House. I was sitting there with this ridiculous wig on my head for all day long, and I know I look ridiculous. And
that wig was similar to the way my hair is. Yeah, I get out of bed every day. So welcome to my world.
I know it was hot wearing that wig because it was kind of during the summer, but at the same time, I'm like, hey, this is what I want to do, right? So I'm enjoying it, right? I don't care how silly it looks. I don't care if the pins were jabbing me in my head. I was just like, this is amazing, and that's how I always, whenever audition, on set, theater show. That's me.
Perfect.
Yeah.
No, I can't argue with that. That's what we want to do. And if people are coming with a huge resume, we welcome it. We love people with a lot of experience.
Yeah. And
we'll treat you with the same amount of respect and time and patience as we hope to have someone who has never done anything before.
Yeah,
It'll be their first time. They've never even envisioned themselves even being in a picture, let alone in a film.
In the film, yeah.
So there's no comparison of how we're going to divide people, if that makes any sense.
Unless it's Emma Stone, then I'll bend over backwards.
Well, there might be a whole production crew that we're going to have to have to deal with that one. Yeah, then we'll definitely be throwing out the red carpet then forth. She's an Oscar winner, for God's sake.
Yeah.
So,
I'll carry you, Miss Stone. Where would you like to be carried?
And I will get carried away from you, Miss Stone, probably because I'd be all fanboy on her, but that's neither here or there. God, that's on the record now. Great. But yeah, that was good to still see so much love and happy energy going throughout the entire premiere. It was nice. I mean, we all, you and I both had our hands full. We were co-emceeing the night, making sure everything was going according to plan. With how we were going to set up. Viewing each part of the web series and even the pilot film that we wanted to show, especially just for that audience.
Yeah.
And everything fell into place really well. I don't think anything went differently than how I envisioned it. I envisioned us having it laid out from pilot film to the first 2 episodes to the intermission to the last 2 episodes. Excuse me. That was a very, very ideal thing I had planned, or we had planned, and then just music and accessories in terms of when we had backdrops that people come and take photos and and celebrate the artwork too, because that was a great painting or
that my sister did.
That picture was awesome of the original table poker game there going. I like that. That was amazing looking. So it was just nice. It was a cool looking atmosphere. And again, I think Imperial Pub would love to have us back again, which is nice.
Oh, for sure.
So they're always going to be in our thoughts when it comes to maybe the future of any type of production, even for Mystery Solve. We're hopefully working on Mystery Solve 2 is still in the works. So when that comes out, we definitely might be considering that again, another place to kind of have a showcase for it.
Yeah, dress code for that one would be dressed as the 40s or 30s.
Yeah, we'll probably have to be doing that.
Yeah. It's all just dressed as character.
So no one bring Tommy guns.
But can Tommy bring a gun?
Tommy?
Well, you can't bring Tommy guns, but can Tommy bring a gun?
There's one Tommy I do know, but he might, if he hears
not
this,
that Tommy, any Tommy.
He might be like, oh no, that I won't be able to be allowed in. But can Tommy bring a gun? Probably not. Not during that show. That'd be a loud event. But we're very excited though also for those of you who have been keeping up with what we've been doing on our social media, especially on our Facebook. The other day we launched I should say we're allowed to talk about it for sure. Yeah. So the future right now at the moment we're working on for Enchanted Mafia is Enchanted Mafia Origins.
Yeah.
Which I am extremely excited for.
Originally, I tried the whole, if this gets up to... If the Facebook page hits a certain amount of likes, or if the YouTube page gets a certain amount of subscribers. It didn't hit that, unfortunately. But at the same time, I went, you know what? There's loyal fans out there. Why deny them... Why deny them this and let them wait longer? So I just went, let's just put it out.
Well, you know what? I gotta say, at least for our social media side of it, is we did get hits for that video. I noticed we did get an increase in terms of people taking interest and locking into the the Facebook group just to kind of keep updated and partially in the Instagram group, which is nice.
And I didn't even named that trailer on Facebook Secret Trailer, so people would have to click it and watch it to figure out what is this.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're really excited. We've got so far 4 films in the works. I guess can I say the 4 films?
Yeah.
All right, so we got Cupid's Origins right now.
Yeah.
We're currently filming. We got right now we're writing out Easter Bunny Origins.
Yeah.
We have Tooth Fairy Origins, and then finally we have Father Time's Origins.
Yeah. Those won't be released in the way you said them.
No,
they
won't
different
be.
kind of release. But the Easter Bunny we have a solid story for, so that should be almost done. We have ideas for Tooth Fairy and Father Time. That's just amounts of putting it in the formula that we have and making it one whole script. So those would be cranked out soon then.
Yeah. We're kind of more or less near the end towards finishing up principal photography for Cupid's Origins, which has been really exciting to do.
That's like a year in the making, Cupid Origins.
Yeah, when did we start kind of working on that? Was it February-ish, March-ish?
February, because there was a lot of snow on the ground.
We did it through even March, minorly, because there was snow from even as far as into almost early April, and then it stopped finally, which was okay. Because we didn't really need too much of the snow shots for what we were doing outdoor stuff. But yeah, that was it's kind of been fun just to see the progression of what we're doing for the characters. Because the reason why I'm so excited for a lot of these origin stories is it seems like it takes a little bit more of a grittier feel
Yeah.
compared to Dark City and the original pilot film.
Yeah.
Like Dark City, I think he was even another notch higher than the pilot.
Pilot, yeah.
For, obviously the pilot, it got like that one where Sandman gets his head blown out.
Yeah.
But apart from that, if you're watching, Dark City, the graphic, the next level of how graphic we got was, a throat slashing. So that was kind of upping the ante of just kind of visual effects there, and then just seeing how kind of serious we were making the content.
Right.
This one here, I think, is even going up a further notch. At least the atmosphere and the feel and the theme and the vibes of these next 4 films.
Yeah, yeah.
Which order they're coming out in, we're still figuring out. But yeah, we kind of have more or less a better part of idea. We're doing them.
What's gonna happen? Yeah.
But yeah, they and that's again why I'm excited for that more of we're turning the dial just a little bit more of how how gritty and how these certain characters came to be and what led them to forming the Enchanted Mafia.
Yeah.
Which is really, really nice. I think it's almost like if you could say it, are we doing the reverse Marvel in a way?
We're doing not the reverse Marvel. We're doing DC. We're doing DC, but we're not overhyping them like DC is.
Well, with all due respect, I mean, that's one thing, if we'll just take for a minor thing to talk about DC Marvel.
Right.
When I was a kid, the biggest group always on cartoons is Justice League.
Yeah.
If you would have told me when I was a little child that the Avengers would be like one of the bigger films, I'd be like, what? Because I didn't really know too much of the Avengers. Like, Marvel is always big, but Marvel's maybe flag bearers were like the X-Men and Spider-Man, where they were heavily produced compared to the Captain Americas and the Iron Mans. Those were more the comic booky groups.
Well, what's interesting is they
at least for TV and film and stuff.
Right. At the time, there was also in the 90s, there was there's not just X-Men cartoons, which was their big flagship there. There's also Fantastic Four cartoon, Iron Man.
Yes.
Who else? Hulk, Spider-Man.
But for me, I think if I'm thinking, I'm the big guys, at least from that time, from my childhood, Iron Man and Cap, they were I was aware of them.
Yeah.
But I didn't see them
as big. They
weren't cycling in as much as the Spider-Man, Hulk, and X-Men. Wolverine was huge, and then Fantastic Four. I have to say for a lot of those groups,
right.
They were kind of the more bigger, popular brands of cartoons and comic books.
Yeah.
And then
they also did a Captain America movie back then.
No,
which is
I'm not saying they didn't get spotlight, but just seeing how the dominance was of just those Marvel characters when Marvel had their time to shine for because again I was a kid.
Because nobody knew who Black Panther was at the time, who the hell were the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, they didn't get the same kind of exposure the way obviously Spider-Man blew up.
Spider-Man was around the 60s.
Yeah, right? but I mean when it comes to a group of superheroes forming, when the whole group comes together, Justice League was the number one group that came out in terms of because Superman was big, Batman was big, Wonder Woman had her stuff going on, and
Green Lantern was big.
Yeah, Green Lantern and
Aquaman.
Those 5 I'd have to say for sure for Justice League. So when they when the rest of them
we're forgetting the Flash.
Excuse me, the Flash. But they had cartoons plus certain TV and movie adaptations already.
Yes,
we could be fair from the Hulk. I think was the only one who had a TV adaptation. Apart from I know you just mentioned Captain America, but Lou Ferrigno that was a big big Hulk
The TV
series.
show was a big Hulk series.
I don't remember any live action Spider-Man until the Tobey Maguire Sam. I can't even pronounce his last name.
There was not in North America. There was a Japanese. It wasn't even Spider-Man how we know it. It was almost like a combination Power Rangers and Spider-Man.
Oh yeah,
where he would jump into a big mechanical beast, machine to fight the monsters because they grew 10 times the size too. So there's kind of that, but it still wasn't as big as anything that DC put out in the 90s.
Right. But here we are now, and obviously when Disney bought Marvel, or at least a good chunk of Marvel, they had orchestrated a plan of how to deliver a content of story.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we tied it to Enchanted Mafia a little bit, that we kind of wanted to base our influence of how we would go progressive from season to season. Not in a way it's concrete phase,
right?
Because I think when they were doing an Avengers film, at least out of the 3, or I will say 4, because Infinity War and Endgame split into 2. they always had a bunch of solo films that would join for each phase,
Tie them
right?
all in, yeah.
And I don't know if necessarily we'd say would do that as much. We wanted to just kind of go into depth with the origin stories for the characters, because I remember I told you from way back when we were starting to do in Dark City, like the table read, and then we started doing principal photography. I kind of started in my own mind
building up Cupid's character.
Same way that a lot of people have now recently come up to you and myself with regards to their own minor parts and roles in Dark City, about how they wanted to expand on their characters. I always had this kind of just little thing of like creating from the character of Cupid and where it could
just
go.
For your own backstory, purpose.
I figure, for some minor inner monologue, because I kind of wanted to see Cupid seem to be more like minor hothead of the group.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, what? It's like the way I always laugh that little segment with The Rock and Triple H. Why are you always so damn angry? It's one of those kind of things. Like, it's like, well, he's got to have some type of like thing. Like, what? Why is he
like this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where does it go? What is it from? What's causing it? I mean, obviously Santa Claus was pushing his patience to the over extinction point, but. I was really priding myself on how I could figure out how to get more depth, and then I approached you saying, hey, what would you think about Cupid origin story, possibly? Where we could play around how Cupid becomes Cupid, or Vinny becomes Cupid, I should say. And then I thought about, we could even do this again with thinking about an Easter Bunny, which kind of characters would we have so much depth that we can expand on or create some type of things. And that's where we kind of we really took our time to kind of pace ourselves of how we can make it make sense that would tie into where have led to the events of where we are now with the pilot film that we did, and then Dark City. Of how, things kind of collaborated and became so strong that they formed the Enchanted Mafia.
Right.
Which was fun.
Yeah.
Then again, it's not like being filmed. It's not being filmed so far like away from each other in terms for like what we're trying to keep continuity. Because sometimes I notice that in certain Hollywood films, you can tell that they decided on a whim 2 years after they made like a movie about someone, like, oh, we're going to do an origin story. It's like, well then, man, you can tell certain things off. They had this idea back when they originally were filming things. You could tell certain minor tweaks, but that, again, that's neither here or there. Like, I guess when I thought about when I watched the first 3 X-Men films, and then they came out with Wolverine, I'm like, well, I wish they had this, because I forget what's his name there, who played Sabretooth in the origin film. But
what's his name? I know who you're thinking of. He was going to play Chris Benoit in a biopic.
Yeah, he plays the actor now in the show. He at least was. I don't know if it should still be on Ray Donovan.
Yeah.
But that actor, my friends who are going to hear this are going to eat me alive, because they're probably screaming right now saying, it's him. I cannot believe you forgot his name. But I wish he, because they used him to be Sabretooth, and then Sabretooth is in the first X-Men film that came out all those years ago, with Hugh Jackman and a lot of them, that it was like, it's too bad. I wish they had that idea in the past, because then, that actor would have, could you imagine, thinking about that?
They could have connected it somehow.
Yeah. There's those kind of special connections.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know they did kind of funny thing where for First Class they had Logan have a cameo in the film there. But, they make it where Wolverine really his age doesn't it's flawless until obviously the movie Logan came out. But that was, I guess, more or less loosely based on an adaptation of a comic of an older Logan. But and then even I think, I could be wrong, is it Days of Futures Past where they do another shoot, or there's another segment of him breaking out of Stryker's facility? Is it Days of Futures Past, or is that Apocalypse? Apocalypse, yes.
I think it might have been Apocalypse, because Days of Future Past is when he gets caught at the end, and he goes to Stryker's facility, which you find out Stryker was Mystique. Yeah. Spoiler alert.
I haven't even seen Dark Phoenix, but I've heard, because now... it's official that Fox, at least this Fox Studios has been bought by Disney. That's what I mean. I think that I don't know how they're gonna include it.
Actually, I forget the studio, because you just reminded me of something. Sony might sell their movie. This was like a small, minute rumor that I read. Sony might sell their movie portions or department to another. Film company, and I remember
assuming American.
I think so.
So would it be Paramount, Warner Brothers?
One of those, or Universal, something like that. And I remember thinking that's kind of interesting considering how Sony wanted Spider-Man back, because I'm assuming whatever this company is, if it's true or not, I'm not saying it, this is allegedly. Because if that's true, then I can see why Sony would want Spider-Man back to sweeten the deal of selling all their films.
Well, I mean, forgive me for saying this, I guess for people who may or may not like this hot take, but I was really upset the way the backlash that I found Sony was laid out to dry.
Mm-hmm.
And being like the whipping boy of this deal, so to speak, not coming together anymore, and Spider-Man being out of the MCU. A lot of people took it out on Sony's being greedy and like, you're stealing them away from us. Give them back to us.
Right.
Like, it's one of those things that was like I don't know how you just forget the Goliath that they were trying to do business with, who wanted. I don't mean. Then again, I don't remember reading full reports of if Disney wanted a lot more revenue, more than they wanted or than they were getting originally for the Spider-Man.
From what I read, whenever it was a solo film, Disney would not get any of the money.
Yeah, something like
it
that.
It would go directly to Sony.
Uh-huh.
But Disney was like, because I think Far From Home made like a shitload of money.
Yeah, Far From Home hit $1 billion.
$1 billion, yeah. And so Disney is just like, well, okay, maybe 50-50.
Yeah.
And then that's when... This is what I read. I don't know if it's like 100% true.
Even if this is the thing, that's why it bugs me. Because I'm going to sound like some type of Chicken Little, the sky is falling, but sometimes when I have it in my gut feeling, I like to just talk about it just for the sake that it's out there and you can hear it.
Yeah.
Disney is making gobs of money.
Yeah.
If we want to get, I've said this many times, you get Mickey Mouse's face, you put him on Thanos' body with the gauntlet, and in the gauntlet, all the jewels are like ESPN, ABC, Marvel Studios, Lucasfilms, which is all the Star Wars. They just got Fox, so all of Fox now, they have Avatar, they've got all the X-Men,
Fantastic Four,
anything that Fox has produced, which is FX, which is like all those FX shows like Fargo, Atlanta, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. All that stuff, because that was Fox's way of countering the HBOs, the Showtimes, and the Stars for those who are more edgier. There's more like the Sopranos, of like those type of series of the world. There's more where you got to go and up your package on your TV deals to really see those kind of like really thriller TV shows.
Right.
So they own a lot. They're making I don't know how much money.
Yeah.
And are going to make so much money now, even with the Fox that they've absorbed. The fact that they would go to that extent, to do that to Sony, and demand this because they want a piece of that Spider-Man pie.
Yeah.
I understand in certain cases that people are really liking Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I think he's great. Don't get me wrong. Maybe for certain aspects, because I was a really big Spider-Man, I'm not a fan of certain things in that universe aspect of him. I kind of like Spider-Man to be his own man, and to me, I didn't feel 100% he was.
Right.
I feel like he was getting all this too much shit from Stark.
Yeah.
To me, like I always appreciate that Spider-Man came up with a little bit his own things.
Tech.
So because Peter Parker's a smart individual, and it shows he's smart.
Yeah,
They don't make him seem like he's stupid.
Yeah.
But, I kind of like where he had some moments of independence. I don't have to see, again, him suffering with Uncle Ben passing away in front of him. I get it. Some people are tired of that quick origin story. But, again, I was always an appreciative fan. And I didn't like the way, so far, the MCU has treated the Hulk. And if Universal still owns the Hulk, look what they're doing with the Hulk.
Right.
And I know a lot of people... There's a lot of people I've spoken to who are a lot more bigger in depth of the comic book industry who are really mad with the way the MCU has handled the Hulk's so far story arc.
Right. Well, I think if the Incredible Hulk did fantastic in the box office, we would have been talking differently about the Hulk today. But because they cannot do any more standalone films with the Hulk, they're so limited on how they can arc his storyline, right? Because I guarantee you, there could have been... They had the possibility of doing a Planet Hulk, where he's like Conan, and he's controller of this entire world.
Well, see, then again, I mean, if we go back in time to go to 2015 when Ultron happened, the Age of Ultron, the movie, and then at the end of it, it's all the parts.
Yeah,
people probably would have thought that's what they were leading towards, right? And then Thor Ragnarok says otherwise.
Yeah.
The only reason why I think a lot of people appreciate Thor Ragnarok is because for 3/4 of that film, Hulk was Hulk.
Hulk, yeah.
Then when Infinity War happens, he's only in it for a certain amount of time. My friends always make jokes about the lack of budget for CGI, so they cut out that part of Hulk for to just shave it off.
I always thought it was because what's his name who plays the Hulk?
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo is just like, I don't want to wear this leotard the entire time. Can I? But
well, he agreed for Endgame because then he put the brains and the brawn together, as he quoted him from what he says in the film.
Right. Although I will say in Endgame, it was refreshing to see Bruce Banner when the Ancient One knocked him out of the body.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, thank God, because I was getting sick of Professor Hulk.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was Professor Hulk. But to me, again, I thought so far what Sony has done with Into the Spider-Verse, I thought was a really great film.
Yeah.
The amount of work that we've talked about that already, because I can't remember the exact time, but the amount of time it took for each frame to be completely constructed was like hours for each frame of that film. And that film was great looking. And it was good. It was good storytelling. I enjoyed it, and I think all around
everyone enjoyed it.
It was a critical success, and I think it made money. It did make money. Excuse me. So Sony isn't like it's not like they're delusional. They don't know how to make a Spider-Man movie. The Andrew Garfield films, I don't think they were the worst. They could have been better, but I don't think they were. I don't think they were just terrible.
Well, the first one to me wasn't that bad. The second one they did what they did with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, where they had like the suits say like, oh no, you need to put this in, you need to put that in. But continue, because there's an interesting point about the Captain America movies. But continue with Spider-Man.
Well, for the sake of the Andrew Garfield ones, like I saw them and I was kind of more or less, because they were building towards something, and I kind of don't. I mean, at least for me, as either being a fan or a person who likes to try to create and try to display things, on the big screen, or just I hate to see ideas get lost or not come to fruition.
Right.
And you could tell they were building towards the Sinister Six in the Garfield films for them, and I just thought it's unfortunate that they never really continued that part.
Right.
It ended on such kind of like, at least for that story arc of those two films, it ended obviously a little bit sad because of Gwen Stacy situation. But they had done, and then behind the scenes they had done an exclusive scene for Mary Jane that they decided to scrap for the sake of, for whatever reason, in post production they didn't go along with it and have her in the film anymore. But yeah, I just kind of was more or less, it's too bad. Like I would have liked to have seen, I think every story deserves a proper finish. If it's not a great movie, so be it. But at least let the movie be finished, and then you can be a judge for it.
Right.
Sometimes it does. Maybe there is that sequel to come pull certain things out of it.
Well, the third, I don't know if you read the leaks for what Amazing Spider-Man 3 was supposed to be.
Honestly, no, I had not.
So one of the things I remember from it was they were gonna that some sort of formula gets released in the air, and Gwen Stacy's father was going to come back to life. It was like almost going to be like a zombie kind of thing. And I remember reading that and going, that's kind of... Jeez,
now I'm starting to get the moment from Tropic Thunder where Motown, or what's his name, Al Pacino goes, damn, and I thought the movie was bad.
Yeah.
He's whispering there in the bushes.
Right.
But, it is what it is. So we try to, again, model ourselves based on what we are viewing from, some of the superhero films, just for that way that they're going in phases. But we're going, obviously, in seasons.
Right.
So ideally, we kind of brainstormed even for just the second season of Enchanted Mafia that roughly probably it'll be a little bit longer than maybe the first season, that we're trying to target that to have a little bit more, a
couple of more episodes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So again, we're really excited with that. But yeah, Origins, it's going to be a little bit more grittier. You're going to see the characters in a different way that you haven't seen them before yet.
Yeah. And Origins isn't going to be like, it's a web series of 4 episodes. No, they're each standalone films.
Yeah, they are.
The Origin saga.
Yeah. That's what we're kind of doing right now. In the meantime, what we're configuring out and really putting in ideas for what we want that second season to be. We've constructed these origin films, these standalone films, with already its own standard amount of depth to really separate them from these originals, these other seasons of Enchanted Mafia.
And even with these origin stories, I'm going to go too far as say it kind of peaked some storylines for season 3 of Enchanted Mafia.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna say what.
Yeah.
But that's another stepping stone that they're gonna serve.
Right. Which is very fun.
Yeah.
Because it's like we're kind of just jumping, but it's nice to have if we can somehow map it that what we're working towards and continues what we're working towards, and where we see these characters and how far we can go with them. That is what's really, really fun. To kind of get that kind of idea and feel for how much we can do with them, and where it makes sense. There's not too much overexposure,
right?
And that's why I think we picked these 4 guys right now to kind of work with. Doesn't mean like the rest of the Mafia won't get like kind of their own little type of, I want to say, touch up on where they may or may not be
come from. Yeah.
But we thought certain characters, more or less, I think that would be kind of more special if we put it in future installments of our seasons as opposed to maybe just full-fledged films.
Yeah.
I'm just even trying to think. Yeah, no, that more or less is what we were trying to go with. To kind of have a little bit more where there's those. It makes it special.
Yeah.
Because if we did like for the Enchanted Mafia,
that would have been 8 films.
Yeah, 7 to 8 films of origin films, and I think people would have been like, okay, gotta get this going. We've done 8 origin films, and yet like when's the second season gonna come out?
And these films, like I know for the web series, I remember saying no episode can go past 20 minutes. Maybe push it to like 1 or 2 minutes, but nothing more. Whereas I think with these films, I don't want to put time limits on anything, so they might be as long as 30 minutes.
Some of them were. Personally, I thought, if anything, Cupid Origins might be 25 minutes to half an hour. I honestly thought the way things, how excited I especially was even for Easter Bunny Origins, I thought that could be a good 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I thought that film, just for how much so far, we were talking about certain from like Act 1 to Act 2 to Act 3, of what that story could be told and how it could come to fruition. I was thinking, solid 40 minutes. I mean, if it's told the right way, I don't see why not. I mean, then again, who's it's not, neither here or there to say who's really putting a cap on what the time limit is. Depending on what the film and what the story calls for.
Right.
If we need that extra 5 minutes to iron out telling the part of the story and it flows nice,
then the 5 minutes will be there.
And it
I don't want to throw stuff that's just we need to make it 40 minutes, so just throw this random stuff in. No. Everything that we do always has some sort of. There's a reason why this happens for that to happen for that.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So, I think at least those 2 stories so far, we kind of have a better idea, more or less, of where they are. I mean, Cupid's is in the middle of filming, or we're more or less towards the latter part of the production. What do we have to do? I think two scenes are ideally left, one big one, and then I think 1 or 2 minor small things, just insert shots, and from there. We'll be doing posts because there'll be a handful of post work to do with because again it's different. If it's supposed to be probably the first one to be released, it'll have it. You'll already know just by instantly watching. There's a bit of a different feel to anything we've done so far with the Mafia universe. Or Enchanted Mafia universe, I should say. I'm even thinking like for Tooth Fairy's origins too. That's exciting. We kind of we had another couple of different I guess influences. Like we have each of these stories has had influences, had impressions from things that we thought that inspired us to kind of work our these stories in the mix of who they are in these characters. And Tooth Fairy too was kind of a fun story to kind of spitball ideas of how we can make that character. How did Timmy become the Tooth Fairy? And what's going on with the mysteriousness of his magic? How he apparently told kids how he can teach kids how to sell their body parts for money. And Father Time, I'm also really excited for that one too because I think that's just gonna be a fun ride. That
one scene in the park that I'm thinking of, that's gonna be fun to shoot.
That's gonna be really fun to shoot. So I mean, I don't know. Like I'm really excited to see them go. They've been really fun. At least Cupid Origins has been fun. That's been an experience so far. We didn't hold back in certain scenes. Some people did not hold back. Dear Lord, they did not hold back.
Cat did. She didn't hit you.
Yeah, Kat. Yeah, you know what? I know we were saying we were gonna be patient. We're gonna be accommodating. But Kat, for some reason, I asked her to beat the heck out of me with a bamboo stick, and she did not do it. She did not commit.
No.
Is it so hard to get beaten up with a bamboo stick? Like, unless I have to charge her, like one of those special places you got to go to get your ass beat. But no, that was, it's been that's been fun. That was been fun, and I guess for Easter Bunny, with that being how long we discussed it for roughly 40 minutes. I don't think we would do a full-fledged premiere where we're going to showcase all of these.
No.
We might have to try to do maybe a special night for one of them, or we may, depending on what category.
Well, depending on when they come out, right?
Right.
Because if, let's say, the Cupid one comes out first, for sure the Easter Bunny one wouldn't be played at the same time.
No.
Right?
No. I don't see those two going in the same night together.
No.
Just because they just seem like, they'd have to... They are that length that I think they would probably have to be given their own special, attention to.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want, Cupid to overshadow Tooth Fairy's, special night, or, for that showing. And I know, Tooth Fairy would probably feel the same way about Easter Bunny and, Father Time, but... So, it depending on where we are in the length of those films.
Which reminds me, I actually still go buy that shirt in Woodbridge.
Which one?
The one that had Espresso Your Life or whatever. Espresso Yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that is a necessity to get. I still like the gnocchi one.
Yeah.
The gnocchi one was awesome. Because that one there, to anyone who may or may not have dyslexia, I know sometimes I suffer from it.
It looks like it says Gucci.
Yeah, 100%. The way they did the Gucci font for gnocchi, I thought was amazing.
I came so close to buying it when I was at the X. But I remember going, it's $25. Where are these guys located? And when they said Woodbridge, I went, okay. I don't need to buy it now.
I hope those guys in Woodbridge they aren't charging $30.
If they do, I'm gonna be like, no, and I'm gonna wait for next X, huh?
Yeah, something like that. You guys got coupons? I would literally just call it out without any
Yeah, no. And the
remorse.
Super Sata one for the Supreme, that was hilarious.
Oh yeah. I thought that was cool. I mean, they're funny takes on like actual logos,
brands. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I think we might have to work that in somewhere. At least I picture probably Father Time just getting it because he needs clothes. I think we talked about getting something going there.
Yeah. Well, it'll tie into the original film when he just screams out, espresso!
Yeah. That's all he knows what to say, apparently, when he wants things for breakfast. I just thought of
another idea for Father Time. Like, you haven't seen the first Thor, have you?
No, I've seen the first Thor. I haven't seen Dark World.
Okay, yeah, Dark World, you don't need to worry. But remember when he's like, I like this, another.
Yeah,
it's just him, I like this, another with the espresso.
I always used to laugh when you just walked in to the pet shop. I need a horse.
Yeah.
I always loved that one. For me, it's just it's a random one-liner that to me always got me. Just, I need a horse. Yeah, that was it's one of those kind of things. So I think there's some influence there with Father Time, with what his origins is, that we've kind of really, again, we try to expand on, get into depth. We think, because I think we've talked about it. I think if we had to kind of give him his respect, we'd probably say he's one of the more powerful characters in the group.
Yeah.
So to kind of see if we could showcase that in the story would be really fun.
Yeah.
Because then going into future seasons, people will know, okay, he's not just some guy, putting people on train tracks and walking away for fun.
Right.
He's got some funny zinger lines, but if you get on his bad side, or good side, depending on how he uses it, because sometimes I feel like Father Time might not know his own strength.
Right.
Which even makes it more unpredictable and fun. And you've got yourself a fun story to tell.
Yeah. I like how it's coming along so far. Yeah, I think it'll be exciting once we film it.
And then even separating a little bit from Enchanted Mafia is Mystery Solved 2.
The Mystery Solved Again.
Yes, I should literally say the Mystery Solved Again. The sequel to the Mystery Solved. That one there is, I think that one's going to probably be even a little bit more outrageous than the first. It's,
on the way here, I actually thought of an idea, which I won't say here because I don't want to spoil anything.
Right.
But I'll say it afterwards.
Definitely.
About it.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Good. So we're cooking that in, and like I've already mentioned that, but Yeah, we're planning on figuring out exactly how much we're going to do with the characters who we're seeing, where the characters have gone from the first one to the second one, and the depth of that story too. Because that one there is another funny world. Where we have a lot of kind of characters that literally it's almost like a revolving door at certain points of just kind of characters with so many one-liners and quick little reactions to things. Like you really can make it where it's the most illogical situations, but with the most over-exaggerated consequences, which makes it really fun.
Right.
And just to kind of be a part of and showcase in a movie. And yeah, that's so I think we don't really have, I guess, a time frame of when we're planning on doing principal photography for that one. But yeah, more or less, that's also being on I guess the storyboard and the cutting board of the screenplay, so to speak. And then from there, like we talked about on our last podcast, TWE is also coming in. We've got at least how many actors right now for it?
8? There's 8. We'll see if they say yes again. Yeah. Right now, we have so far 8 confirmed. We're hoping that at least more or less they will follow up with them and do some shoots. But TWE is going to be really, really fun because that's again something. I mean, it's a spoof, so really there's so much content to spoof off of and make and make our own variations of it, which is nice. Tell me why. Oh God, I would love to do that. All the spoofing of JR, come on. Jim Ross is a legend. He's got amazing lines that happen on live TV and pay-per-view that, God. We have to get someone to audition for that, something like that. If he's going to be our JR, he's got to really blow that audition. He's really got to do it? Oh, 100%. It's like either that or it's just going to be me with can't keep my mouth shut. I'm going to literally in the middle of my own character's promo start doing JR in the mix of it as well. It was me, Bobby Bricks. Oh, son of a bitch. It's like, is Bobby Bricks like bipolar? She's like commenting on his own actions in the middle of his own promo. What's that all about? It's like, well, he's full of himself, so it only makes sense. He has more time, to look at his abs than to actually probably, focus on his match. But that's neither here or there. God, Bobby Bricks. What a legend. I can't wait to revisit him either. I gotta find my scarf. Actually, I had 2 scarves for that promo we did that one time. You had 2? I think I was rocking. I brought 2, but I ended up wearing one. But I wanted to originally wear 2 scarves. I was thinking I have one completely wrapped around my neck and the other one draped around me. Right. And then I was like, nah, maybe I'll just have the one. But I wore sunglasses for the promo. And then grabbed the mic and then just kind of went to town on the fly. I was going to wear sunglasses for mine, but I saw you and Steve wearing sunglasses, and I went, I'm not going to wear sunglasses. Yeah, I do remember that. Yep, I do. I was like, geez, I don't have that much of a costume here for my character. I was really banking on these sunglasses being worn in the middle of a promo. Then I see Steve pulling off STD there as his character. Smooth Tyrone Demone. Yeah. Oh, Steve. He's a really nice guy, too. He is one of the actors confirmed for TWE, right? Yeah, he's confirmed. He's in that mix of that group. Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's really nice. I'd really love to work with him again because he was really fun. Yeah, and I worked with Steve one time before. We did this PSA commercial where we both played cops. Huh. So I met him through acting. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, it was a small world because he just was there and we found him in the hallway or in the studio. Right in the studio. Like, Steve! No, actually it was when we were signing up. Yeah, that's it now. And I'm like, oh, Steve! Like, you here for the wrestling thing? Yeah. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah. Actually, Anthony was pretty cool. He was pretty comfortable, too. He just kind of let us do our things. He said, if you have promos, cool. If not, I can maybe just come and ask you questions. You just give me one-liner. So Anthony, who we worked with for that one, he was really nice and really comfortable to work with. I was just nervous about doing it, a second time. If you wanted me to redo the promo, I was like, dude, that was all on the fly, man. I can't say it word per word now. Yeah, I just did that on the fly, and I'm hoping to God that one take was more than enough that you needed, because, I don't know. Right. And I could do something else, and then we ended up doing some other segments, which was good, because I'm like, okay, I can definitely work with other people and improvise, but to be, on my own and try to do a second promo identical to what I had just done, not a chance. Yeah. I mean, I probably could have come up with something, but I would have definitely
worked my ass off to put the same energy in.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but yeah, it would not have been word for word the same whatsoever.
Right.
So no, but that was fun, and that's why we were so inspired by doing that. We really wanted to, come up with TWE and really have that also as something fun to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I've spoken to a few friends who are really interested. They might even consider, wanting to do it at one point. I didn't really know what to tell them at the time because I thought we probably had a good amount to work with this round of TWE's first, installments. But I'll keep them still in my thoughts about possibly reaching out and saying, hey, if you're still interested, we would love to have you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Is there anything else that we have to cover more on this for catching up with these great folks? Yeah, you guys are great folks. Calm down. Jeez, I'm giving you you really have to boo me? Like what is the deal? All right, thank you so much. Wow. I'm not doing this ever again. I'm not doing a live studio audience ever again. Good. How many cheers for me? Nothing? Wow, that's really nice. How many cheers for the Holy Grail, Frankie D?
Oh, look at that.
Wow. Are you kidding me? Come on. You know what? I'm not going to curse. I'm going to take the high road and say, you know what? If they don't like me, I guess I just got to win them over slowly but surely. Mm-hmm. But that's really nice. That really boosts my confidence. I'm really gonna feel good tonight when I go to bed. No, it's okay. I'm good. I'm not crying. I'm fine.
I was saying boo earns.
I was saying boo earns. Yeah. Oh, God bless that show too. Disney now owns them.
Really?
Disney now owns The Simpsons because of the Fox. So when Disney Plus comes out, I'm pretty sure The Simpsons would be under the Hulu or whoever had them.
I just hope The Simpsons just end though at this point.
Well, now you're saying some really heartbreaking things here.
Well, they kind of after the movie, I think they kind of went.
Well, I haven't even really. I've come in and out to see more of the recent episodes of them. I used to watch them a lot.
Yeah.
And then in the last, if I was going to say for this decade, no. Like a lot of the seasons from this current decade, not really. Anything from the 2000s and 90s for sure.
Yeah.
But no. Like, oh man, like I have one of the one that's one of my favorites that I had saved on my Instagram was. When Homer is dropping off the babysitter and she's sitting on a piece of candy.
Venus de Milo?
Yeah, and then he goes to clear his name and with the news anchor guy there, and they
horribly cut it. Yeah.
Her sweet can, her sweet can, and you can see the clock. The time is accelerated because it's clearly showing that they've edited it. He goes, "So, Mr. Simpson, you admit that you touched her can. What do you have to say for yourself?" And he's just all like. Mr. Simpson, silence will only. I forgot what he says. Mr. Simpson, silence will only prove a flaw. I don't know, whatever he says. No, Mr. Simpson, don't take your anger on me. No. And then it pauses. Dramatization may have not happened.
Yeah,
like it's a disclaimer. I love that. That's one of my favorites. Like I've never. I lose my mind all the time at that one. I have it saved, and then like once in a while I have to watch it again just because it's funny. And then, I could go on and on, but Kat would be really mad if I started talking Family Guy stuff, so I will not go there. For the sake of Kat, our makeup artist, the angel that she is, I will not betray her trust. When she comes back on to do the Star Wars, and we'll do probably Family Guy talks for her, I will save all that kind of stuff for her. But yeah, I don't know, did you want to do the questionnaires then?
We can do the questions in the box.
Yeah, for sure. Unless there was anything else, I don't know if we had anything else planned. That's all. I'm just double checking.
Nothing.
Because I wanted to catch up, tell everyone we were live and well, and that we hopefully we're gonna. I guess shortly after this podcast, we'll probably or at least people on YouTube especially, will put out for you guys the Origins trailer if you guys haven't seen it either on Instagram or especially on our Facebook.
Yeah.
We'll do that. Okay, I guess we'll just do the questions then.
Just one question.
Is it just for me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. This time it'll be me.
The mystery box of questions. I'm just mixing them up here.
Yeah, you can really hear the shuffle.
No, that's my pubes. No, just kidding.
You know what? You can't say that kind of stuff because there's no visual effects here, and people might get the wrong impression.
All right.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
All right, you can't read it.
That's right. I didn't even see. I just saw a B at the end of it.
Okay. Oh, this is fitting. If you could live in a book TV show or movie, what would it be?
What the hell is that supposed to... No. I can't even be offended by that or pretend to be offended. Ooh. TV show or movie? You know what?
Or book?
There is a series that's going to have a TV show, but it was based off a book and it has a movie series. I'm probably going to say maybe Lord of the Rings. I probably would say The World of Middle-earth. I would love to, like, at least the way Peter Jackson and New Line Cinema, the way they filmed those films, they made that look like a beautiful place to be. The countryside, I mean, obviously New Zealand was a beautiful place they filmed in, and they made it look so cool to be a part of. So I think I'd probably have to say that. I probably would have to say
Lord of the Rings. I kind of had a feeling you were going to say that.
Yeah, Middle-earth, I probably would say that, yeah. Because, I mean, I don't know. If you'd asked me 15 years ago, I probably would have said Star Wars.
Right.
But there's like a shitload of planets, so yeah, there's a lot more variety. But I don't know, sometimes when you're at a certain point in your life, you're like, just like that kind of simple demeanor type of things. You kind of appreciate a little bit, handful of things in your life. And yeah, I would have liked, that would be nice. That would have been cool. Probably a few fans here and there or people I know would probably say, yeah, I do that too, Rob. Great job. Because the studio audience obviously doesn't like me. I can't handle this criticism from the studio audience. This has been a rough show today. It's been a rough crowd, man. You did this, didn't you?
I didn't do anything.
You swayed them.
Yeah, with my good looks.
Well, I can't argue against that, but come on, you're putting me on the spot here, man. Like, jeez. You know, I come in here...
How was I supposed to know they were all your exes?
Ooh.
That's okay, mine wouldn't even have showed up.
Well...
All one of them.
Only the winners show up, I guess, for you. And my critics wait for me at my doorstep. More or less, it's my mother, but I don't want to get into that right now. But yeah, I definitely would love to, Middle-earth would be very, very cool. Peter Jackson's Middle-earth. Tolkien's Middle-earth would probably be wonderful too. After reading the books, especially... They sound terrifying and terrific all in the same thing, if that makes any sense. Terrifying and terrific would definitely be a way to describe the novels and how he just describes, the battles, the adventure of a lot of the characters and the suffering, but also, the resilience, too, of a lot of the characters.
Right.
Samwise Gamgee was definitely, a little personal favorite of mine, and I didn't realize until recently, I guess, because I never knew it, but I think it was Stephen Colbert. He had Sean. Oh my God, is it Sean Astin? Is that his name? When he was in the Goonies. And Rooney there. He had said to him on his thing, "Hey, Sean, J.R.R. Tolkien openly said that Sam was the hero of it." And he goes, "Well, I loved his character, but I never thought of it like that. I guess it seems so humble." And I'm like, oh, he still has some Sam in him, because I don't think Samwise Gamgee, the character, if you've seen the movies and even reading the books, I don't think he would ever take that. He would never admit to that kind of stuff. He just cared for his friends and wanted to put an end to evil in the world. So yeah, that'd be really cool to kind of be a part of that world.
Nice.
So yeah, there's mine. I guess I'll give you that question back.
No,
I know you said it's your question, but this is a great question. I think I would love to hear other people's opinions down the road if it ever comes back up.
If it ever comes back up?
Yeah,
so you want to stick it back in?
I think it's a little special.
All right. Back in the box it goes. The dollar store box where I got it from.
Honestly, if you had not said that, I would have thought, hey, that looks really cool.
That looks pretty good for $1, huh? Okay, wait, $1.50.
Those bastards and their taxations, when will they stop?
Never. Especially when it's called Dollarama and they're charging more than $1.
Well, you got me there. Well, we're just about over an hour, so that's a pretty good time. At least people's ears haven't been bleeding to my voice. Clearly, the studio audience can't stand me. Well, that's good. No reaction there. That's nice. That's nice. I was really hoping for at least a laugh there, because we're warming up to him. He's engaging with us, but I guess not. So much for breaking the fourth wall. Wow. I don't know, Frankie D. Do you have anything else you want to talk about so far today?
Oh, you know who I'm gonna give a shout out to? Only because they reached out to me through Instagram.
Yeah, for sure.
Atypical Man.
Oh, okay.
It's like a jewelry watch for men.
Mm-hmm.
They reached out to me through Instagram because they kind of liked my brand.
Yeah.
They said they offered me, and this is not a paid. Like Atypical Man didn't sponsor us or anything.
Right.
But they offered me like a watch, pretty much.
Cool.
For a certain discount off. I'm not going to say how much I got off. But yeah, they said if you want, you can do that. Pick whatever watch you want, and then we'll send it to you. And then I gave it a test run.
Awesome.
Dressed up, or even if I went to the grocery store, I was wearing this watch. And it stood out. It's a nice watch. It's a great, nice watch. I highly suggest them. It's a nice piece of jewelry for any guy.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all it takes, just a little bit of some exposure out there for you, and people kind of take a liking into what you're doing.
Actually, also, what's great about them is they're local. They're from Guelph, Ontario.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I forget what kind of leather they use, but it's like environmentally friendly. If you're into that, if not, doesn't matter. And then some of the proceeds do go to a nonprofit organization.
Well, I'll definitely love to take a look at that then, for sure.
Yeah.
I kind of, I'm not saying I don't have like a crazy hobby, but I've recently got into like, certain types of watches, so I would love to check that kind of stuff out, actually.
I was always a watch guy, even before even when I was still in university. I worked in the Bay in the jewelry department, and I worked in the watch section, so I kind of know a bunch about watches.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good picture to show you. Like, that's the watch.
Unfortunately, I apologize to the studio audience can see, so I know we'll love this from you, Frankie, but unfortunately, people on YouTube, I'm sorry you can't see this. That looks really nice.
Yeah, nice leather.
Yeah, but it's like, also even the face of it is really clean.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. Wow. And that's the symbol, I'm assuming, their logo there?
Yep.
I really like that look. That face is amazing. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm assuming did you pick the color?
I picked the color, the watch style, all that. I'm just going to pull up their Instagram here. Which is at atypical.man if you want to check them out.
Yeah,
they have their website there, which is theatypicalman.com. They sell even bracelets, necklaces, and watches so far.
So watches and bracelets have definitely caught my interest, so I'm definitely probably going to take a look at them for sure.
And they also have, when I was looking at it, because he said, I forget the gentleman's name who contacted me. He's like, what are you into? And I said, I'm a watch guy, right? But when I was looking online, they also have packages where you can do like a watch and a bracelet, or a package of all three.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of themed, like... I think one of them is like an anchor, so you get like an anchor bracelet with an anchor necklace, and then the watch I think is like a white face kind of watch. Mm-hmm. I forget exactly because I was just looking at the watches, obviously, but yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I know it definitely is. That's definitely interesting to me. I wouldn't mind taking a look, especially for like the watches, but even then bracelets too. I didn't know that until you said that. That's really nice because for a little bit of time I was kind of trying to look for some special bracelets because I had recently. That's another thing too for the audience that doesn't know. I had gone on a little trip right after we did the premiere to Italy for a bit, and I was kind of just looking for little things like that. While I was there, maybe some either watches or bracelets just for little trinkets because I hadn't been there in a while and I didn't know if I was going to be back anytime soon, so I kind of wanted
pick up some stuff.
Yeah, a little memento, something like that of some sorts. So that's cool. That's really awesome. I would love to take a look at them, and I definitely think I would.
Yeah,
I know I will for sure. We also didn't even talk about, just for the sake of it, we talked some wrestling, but a lot has changed for the fact that pretty soon we're on the eve of the doorstep of the Wednesday Night Wars here, with AEW's coming to Fox.
And NXT already
on
debuted.
the USA Network there on Wednesdays, which that first show was pretty intense from what I heard. I only watched parts of it, I haven't seen the full thing, but it's NXT, and I never really have any doubts with NXT. They've never... They never have done anything really terrible or bad to the point where it's just like you have to give your head a shake. If it's my own fault, because anytime I try to introduce my friends to wrestling, I show them Raw and SmackDown, and that's terrible on my part. I mean, I can maybe redeem a little bit with some SmackDown every once in a while, but if I really want to lock them in to say, hey, this is what professional wrestling is right now in this day and age,
NXT.
You watch NXT, and then you even see what some of the guys like Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and a lot of the guys on the AEW side, soon to be AEW side, are doing. It's fun. And they're giving it more of a sports vibe too now. I'm starting to see, especially AEW is going to be doing that with their analysis, and we talked about there's going to be an off season with some of their talents.
Yeah,
which is good.
It's not called. I don't think
Well,
For general purposes, it's off season, but what it is, they're still going to operate year round, but some guys are going to take a couple of months off in between.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea because I can't remember back in the day how bad injuries were in terms of how many people were constant, but there was a time, at least for WWE's sake, it just seemed like they were getting plagued with injury after injury. A lot of guys were
left,
getting
right,
injured.
and center. Yeah,
and to me, I was so shocked at how much they were still grinding out the whole, live shows that they were still doing.
Yeah.
From a lot to going, from here to here to here. They were doing a lot of live events, and I don't know. I can't believe they still do those to this magnitude. The same way they've been doing live events the same amount that they were doing during the Attitude Era and even during the Hogan years.
Well, it's interesting you brought this up because I remember I did an audition for Disasters at Sea.
Mm-hmm.
And I got paired up with Jim Cordeas.
Oh, yeah.
Who is, during the Attitude Era, he was a referee.
I honestly love that they have him on Sportsnet.
Sportsnet, yeah.
To talk, do analysts there with all the panel there. It's fun to watch them.
Great guy. I felt bad sort of bringing up, that I knew he was, a referee, because I know, he wants to be an actor. He's doing this here, so okay, I don't want to bring it up.
Well, it's probably because it's the same way you would feel like if I ran into someone who's on the street and was a certain type of celebrity. They don't want to always be badgered by someone.
Right,
sometimes I'm like that.
Right.
They probably don't feel like that. They're probably the nicest person, but I just I feel nervous about talking to them.
Yeah, that's what I did. To break the ice, I kind of said oh, you screwed over Austin, and then he started to laugh, right? But he was talking about him and his wife. Went on a vacation.
Yeah.
And he goes, I was at the airport and he got fed up with I'm at the airport, I have to wait in line, blah blah blah. And his wife said to him well, you used to do this all the time. And then he explained to me that when he was doing it, he was kind of on autopilot, right? So he just got used to, I'm at the airport, I have to be here, I have to be there, and go, right?
Right.
Which I think most of those guys back in the day probably were on autopilot.
Mentally, yes.
Yes.
Physically, especially in this day and age, for how much they're the certain types of styles of wrestling you're doing. I don't know how much people's bodies can handle it. A rotator cuff can only handle so much, or your knees especially.
Yeah.
Because these guys are, I don't know how many days they're in the gym.
Right.
Or they're doing some type of physical activity to train themselves, and then on top of that, they're coming in to do these matches and the live events mixed with TV tapings or even live TV.
Right.
So for me, at least when I do physical exercise too, you have your workout days, but you also have to. It's necessary to have your rest days.
Yeah.
To grow muscle, but to recover, so that way you're not coming back fragile and you're not hurting yourself. Because depending on what you're doing, how much weight you're using, or whatever you plan on doing.
And if you're the top star, you probably don't even have time to rest because
and rest is not even just talking about just sleep alone, which I'm pretty sure a lot of them necessarily don't always get a proper amount of sleep for how grueling the schedule is and the commitment you have to do to it. But also on top of that, just they got to eat to fill the diets, so that way they're staying healthy, they're staying fit, right? This is one of the most talented eras of professional wrestling ever.
Yeah.
There's so many, and especially the sports science across the globe with all major sports is so much more advanced than what it was 20 years ago with guys. During the Michael Jordan years, guys were going to bars after games and going to bed. Now that's not the case anymore.
No.
I mean, sure, the guys will probably go and party every once in a while, but there's sports doctors
before.
and science. Because there's a lot more money on the line. These athletes are getting paid a lot of money.
Technology and science has improved since then.
Improvements of what they need to do to protect their bodies, their what's making them, again, Seth Rollins is a talented wrestler. But I miss Seth Rollins pre-injury of when he blew out his entire knee. That poor son of a, you know what I mean? Because that was a terrible, terrible injury. He's coming back. He's doing great in terms of physical stuff. But the agility and the movements he was doing prior to that injury. I recently saw a recent match, just highlights. I think it was him and Cena when they were doing the fighting for the U.S. title, because then he ended up winning it and having the U.S. title and the Universal title, or the WWE Championship.
Yeah.
But he was flying off the top ropes. He was doing off the turnbuckle stuff, and he's doing a 450 splash. He's doing all those things, and I'm like, man, he hasn't done one of those in a long time.
No.
And I can tell he was trying to do a few of them when he first came back, but you could tell he was nervous. And he still did a few of them really well. But now he's really moved away from that. And it's tragic because, those injuries are they're detrimental to... Or I'm sorry, they're dreadful to your physical body in general for your human life.
Yeah.
But honestly, your athletic life and your career is another another stratosphere of pain and suffering that has to deal with that kind of situation.
That's why I remember when Daniel Bryan came back. I know it wasn't just me, but everybody, which I could even feel through the TV screen. Whoever was watching live at his first match, everyone was like on pins and needles because they're just like, don't get hurt. Don't get hurt.
Well, everyone was... You know what made them even more get on pins and needles? I don't know why they would kept on allowing him to do suicide dives.
Yeah.
With a lot of those guys, like, for what's going on with concussions in the NFL and everything else, the WWE, but a lot of wrestling organizations, they were allowing these guys and girls to do suicide dives.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've seen amazing suicide dives, and I've seen really ugly ones. And I'm not saying ugly ones that they get hurt, but I just mean ugly ones on, the form was off, and God forbid, anything were to happen.
Yeah.
So to me, anytime I see a suicide dive, I've never been a fan of it. Right. I just pictured someone's legs are going to get caught through the ropes, they're going to smack something, and those ropes are tough, right?
Yeah.
They're people have torn off ears. Mick Foley, rest in peace for that ear, because of how tight those things are, and you clip a little bit of it trying to jump out of the ring to do a suicide dive. God forbid, how it's going to look coming out of there. I don't know why they would allow people to do that. They won't allow people to do the tombstone pile driver unless you're Undertaker or Kane, but it's okay to do a suicide dive. And God forbid the person who's trying to take the bump from you, who's also got to be your spotter,
right,
doesn't miss. And God, I'm just saying, God willing that it always goes. I don't know why they were always allowing guys to do suicide dives. And when Bryan came back from when he first relinquished back in 2014, 2015 there,
right.
And then he got injured, I think, on the European tour by Sheamus is what really put him out, and then he was gone for those 3-4 years almost.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know why they're allowing this guy to do a suicide dive. I don't think it's necessary. He could move away from it.
Not just his dives, but when he does those drop kicks in the corner and when he falls back, I'm just like, oh, do you really want to go full force with that one? But
I don't know. I mean, people with concussions, and concussions are, it's serious, but people who with concussions may, some of them may say, no, I'm okay. And then some other people, man, I had one concussion. It wasn't that bad, but I still am, dealing with pains and stuff every once in a while. It bugs me. So they're really unpredictable. And that's why I think we're taking even extra precautions, because some people who have had a handful of concussions are doing okay, and other people who've only had maybe a one aren't the same after that, depending on how the magnitude is of the collisions of whatever they've been doing.
Just like when I slammed my head when we were filming Mafia.
Yeah, you committed. I was like, damn, that was a thud. But and I think to allow people to do those kind of things, I don't know. And Paige was a prime example too. When she got injured, the whiplash there really messed her neck up, and she was dealing with a lot of neck injuries. So, it's those kind of things that it's just, and I'm like, I don't know.
Which was there was talks, because after they did what was in town here, SummerSlam, and Edge speared Elias, everyone was just like, oh, one more match, and you could see Edge was on his Instagram building up for something. And part of me was just like, didn't you retire? Because if you took one more bump on your neck, you would have been in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And I know there's new sciences that are out in this and that, but at the same time, because I worked for a nonprofit that dealt with paraplegics, and the stories I've heard from the simplest thing made them a paraplegic. It's just like, don't do it, Edge. Don't do it. Do one move like you did with Elias, but if you're not 100% sure that, nothing's going to irritate.
Well, man, we don't...
Because he even has 2 daughters, right?
We don't even have to go into too much depth to say, look what happened with Goldberg and Taker at the Super Showdown there in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
That was just a by accident chance that he hit the back post there. I'm not saying it's going to happen to Edge, because I think Edge is a better worker.
Yeah.
But, there's these guys have nothing to prove.
No,
I think a lot of us are nostalgic, but we appreciate what they've done.
Yeah.
For anyone who likes this business, who likes this form of entertainment, who is just enthralled with professional wrestling, they've had some great moments, and we're always going to appreciate that from them. And then anytime we see them, we'll welcome them back like they've never left.
Yeah.
So I know there's a lot of those one more match kind of moments and stuff like that, but I mean, part of me is optimistic because maybe sometimes, you think you're worse than you actually are, and maybe you just need a handful of years to be away, and if you can get yourself back in shape with a proper amount of, nutritional plan and proper training, that maybe, you can do that one more match if you've taken a good time to rehabilitate, depending on what it was. But I think for his sake, I don't know. He doesn't need to. I don't think he doesn't need to. I mean, especially it was a Canadian crowd too, right? So the Canadians aren't gonna eat their own alive.
No.
Not to the certain points like that. And I don't think he needs to do anything. But a lot of those guys, I don't know. I mean, we can go for hours about the WWE needs to stop with the nostalgic acts, but. I think they will now, and they have now somebody else swimming in the same water as them now with AEW. But, WWE, I thought Vince McMahon didn't give really much thought of NXT the way his son-in-law has been doing such a great job with those people there, but they were smart to put them head-to-head with AEW because I think that's more of competition. I honestly think AEW would crush Raw if I really had to be putting it up to fruition.
NXT is going to be WWE's number one show.
100%. It is already their number one show.
It is already their number one show.
I know a lot of people couldn't get it unless you had the network. I don't know if they ever... I don't think the US TV... sorry, oh my God. USA Network there... This is the first time they're showing NXT, and I don't think NXT was on any other televisions before that. NXT would only come out on the network. And that's how I would see NXT here up in Toronto. That's why I'm kind of curious now that it's going. I know from what I was speaking to somebody today who's a big wrestling fan, a good friend of mine. He was telling me he hasn't heard anything of what they're going to do for TV up here with us, with AEW and NXT.
Right.
But he does know NXT will still be showing for us here in Canada on the network.
Right.
So on Wednesdays you can still watch it there on the network when it shows.
What's interesting, because I've seen the first full episode of NXT, the full 2 hours. The first hour, they made mention, we're on the USA Network. This is the hour. The second hour is going to be on the network alone. And then when they went over...
What? Really?
Yeah, it was the first hour was USA, second one was just WWE Network.
Huh, I did not know that.
And when they start the WWE Network, the second hour, they did a recap of what happened in the first hour.
For half an hour?
For not a half an hour, just like it was the match between Velveteen Dream and Roderick Strong, which is a great match. And what's great about even though it's 2 hours, and they did still develop storylines, but it was all told through wrestling.
Cool.
It was like the Velveteen Dream Roderick Strong match went for a good 20-30 minutes.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, and it was fantastic.
I only saw parts of the Riddle altercation.
Yeah. So. That I kind of glossed over because I'm like, okay, eventually they're gonna use weapons. But then when I saw them in the back and Walter attacked, I was like, oh, this could be a gang fight. And then it was a old school 90s Los Pericos versus DX versus Nation of Domination, that kind of thing. Well, wasn't full out like that, but because it had Forgotten Sons.
Yeah.
What else was there that was pretty good? What's good is they showcased, I'm gonna call them veterans of NXT, so like Velveteen Dream, Roderick Strong, Shayna Baszler, Aaliyah, to some points.
Are you talking you mean the main faces right now of the brand?
The main faces, and they also showcased new guys.
Okay.
New guys and girls.
Well, now that they have a second hour of television, I guess they're going to have to bring out more people. Because, I mean, where does that even lead NXT UK?
Well, that's interesting because Imperium showed up.
Huh.
All 4 guys were there. And then when Kushida was walking back, there was something after the whole segment where Marlo Ronaldo said, I guess because NXT is on... is on nationally or whatever, I forget his exact words, NXT UK and Imperium are going to make their presence known.
Huh.
So I think they're going to cross brands. Even with 205, because there was a match
205 is going to NXT. I know that.
Which I'm excited for.
Yeah, I think it's for the best. get it out of the hands of the WWE people and put it with the NXT people will save some lives, because the Cruiserweight Classic was great.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It was great.
Then when WWE's main core got their hands on it, it just didn't have the same feel.
Well, they screwed up with the whole, like, let's make it a separate entity as opposed to let's integrate them. Because I always thought when you...
I was at, and sorry to cut you off,
Don't worry.
but in 2017, when Raw and SmackDown came to Toronto in August, I went to Raw, then Tuesday was SmackDown, and the third hour, because SmackDown was 2 hours, the third hour, like after SmackDown was off the air, they did 205 Live.
Yeah.
And I stayed with my good friend and his friends. We stayed for the 205 Live part.
Yeah.
But I was blown away because everyone's leaving, right?
Yeah.
Everyone thinks the show's done.
It's done.
SmackDown. We came here for SmackDown. We're done. So you can tell. And I think the people were noticing. Like Meltzer mentioned it too, and a lot of the other people in the community were going like, "Oh, geez, he's kind of showing that a lot of people are like, there's a lot of empty seats and people are leaving because it's post SmackDown Live's moment on TV."
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think he got the same amount of exposure. And
No.
just the guys were, there's a lot of great talent. Like I'm glad they got Buddy Murphy out of there.
Well, they're the workhorses of WWE apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, they got a couple of guys out of there like Ali, Buddy Murphy, Cedric Alexander. Who else did they remove from there? I think that's
Ali, Cedric Alexander. I can't believe Brian Kendrick is still there. I figured he like seemed like the type of guy, because he was becoming the face of 205 Live at one point.
Yeah.
And I figured he would splinter out and eventually graduate to the main roster situations. And then he just kind of took a hiatus, because I don't know if he had.
I think he got injured.
But then he was doing stuff at the Performance Center.
Mm-hmm.
He was training Ronda Rousey and a few other people.
He was training Eva Marie.
Yeah.
I think what they're doing with him is, because he's a veteran at this point, he's teaching those younger guys more of the WWE style.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is how TV tapings work and all that and how a match should flow. Which I was always a big fan of Spanky when he first came in, and he was the Brian Kendrick.
Yeah,
right.
I would have said the Brian Kendrick, but I didn't want to. I don't know if not everyone in our audience. The studio audience isn't all wrestling fans. You know what, studio audience? I'm done with you guys. You guys can take a hike.
Well, I think they already left, because this is like the 205 hour.
Oh, is
205 Live hour for us.
No reaction from them? Jeez. So to speak. I thought I'd give it a shot. Q in that. But I think watching him, like at least for people who wouldn't know him, like Brian Kendrick, I think is really talented. I was glad, because I remember him when he first was with them, and then he left for a while. I did a lot of independent work, and then came back now with the 205 Live crew.
Yeah.
For me, seeing them finally kind of move away from it again, I can't stress enough. I'm happy for it, because I think there were a lot of talented individuals and that just weren't getting the and then again, it just kind of got lost in a lot of shuffles from it. But WWE, I think with AEW, I've appreciated what AEW is going to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kenny Omega is by far my favorite wrestler right now on the planet.
Right.
For a long time it was Finn Balor, but I didn't like what WWE had done with him, so it kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. Now, right now, Balor's AWOL. I think he's taking some time off from WWE.
Well, he got married.
Yeah, so I think that's mainly what he requested, just to do that, kind of get away from it a little bit, which is good.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, they did.
Well,
really,
hearing Sasha Banks' story of like why she took the hiatus and then now she's back and she's feeling refreshed, I think this would be good for Balor, because when he comes back, hopefully because they want to give power to Heyman and Bischoff.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, I know Heyman's good, because we won't know what Vince McMahon's doing with the XFL and all that kind of stuff.
He can stay there.
He might. We can only for a lot of us who may or may not agree with it. Yeah, I think it's for the best if he stays there. But I mean, we don't know. He's probably gonna like a lot of people have said, he's gonna die in the chair. He will be there until his heart stops. I gotta respect that for him. It's his baby. He wants to take care of it.
Right. Although technically he did die in that limo explosion, but
someone else died during that time. So unfortunately he came back from the dead for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was good Sasha Banks got away. But the reason why I bring up AEW is because they like Omega and a lot of those guys have got different styles, and they can do North American, but they can do Japanese,
they can do
Mexican.
Lucha Libre, yeah.
Yes, and so, I think they have will have a lot of different dynamics there. That was one thing that WCW in their days, they were doing a lot of that, cruiserweight stuff that was really captivating in the first hour to second hour of Nitro.
You got different styles.
Yeah, and for the hardcore fans who really like that kind of stuff, there's a little bit of appreciation. WWE is going to be a machine, don't get me wrong, and this shouldn't be like, oh, who's going to win out of this? Like, I really, for the love of us, the fans will win, but the fans, I hope to win long term by everyone staying around. I don't want anyone to run out of
No.
Like, I just want it where, that's good.
20 years from now, we'll still be talking WWE, AEW.
Yeah, exactly.
Impact.
Yeah.
NWA.
Yeah.
TWE.
Because for a long time it was just the one and only, and I think that's where the problem is. That's why I'll tie this back into what we were talking about with Disney. I don't like that Disney's buying up everyone because there's an unchecked monopoly going on right now that they're forming for themselves.
Yeah.
And that's why WWE had a good monopoly going for themselves in North America, and more or less globally. They were the largest. Obviously, they are the largest company on the planet for this type of business. Mm-hmm. So to see somebody else with a huge budget coming in and obviously hopefully a good TV deal mixed with production budget, it's really nice. It's really great to see that, and especially with top tier talent that people who would know a thing or two of wrestling would recognize.
Yeah,
which I love. I'm excited for it. And that's why they're going to have variety, which I can appreciate.
Yeah.
WWE does have that lucha stuff, but it doesn't get that same kind of respect.
No.
Like, for the longest time, it was seeing like every other day that someone was getting their mask ripped off for the lucha guys. And I'm like, that's a pretty big thing in Mexico.
In Mexico, yeah.
Like, in that culture, like, a lot of guys go to sleep wearing those things or wake up with them.
They go to church wearing those masks,
right? They walk around with those, right? So, like, because they really appreciate that level of storytelling to the point. Yeah. That's how sometimes I am with just even characters that I portray just on like what we're due for creating things.
Well, I'm not sure if you watched it. Viceland's The Wrestlers.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's shame on me. I still have to watch that.
It's a great docudrama TV series, not docudrama, documentary TV series, and each episode touches upon different things in wrestling, which I didn't even know. Mm-hmm. But one episode talks about Mexican lucha libres. And they interview guys. Some guys are in their masks. Some guys are not wearing masks. Some guys are trainers. They interview a whole bunch of guys. And the thing that stuck out to me was, they in Mexico, it's not done for money or fame. If they make it to money and fame, hey, great. But there's a lot of guys who, by day, they're like a lawyer, a butcher, a guy who can barely make ends meet. But when they get in the ring, everyone's a lucha libre. And they fight.
Right.
And they take great pride in that, right? I'm like, holy shit. This is why sometimes I'm like, I wish I went into the wrestling business more because of that strong kind of brotherhood community. Mm. Because even though they are fighting for spots, but they're also working together, which is the whole thing I like. Whereas I don't want to poo-poo on the acting industry because it's done a lot for me. But that's, like, I hate when I hear, like, oh, I don't want this person to see me because then they're gonna think, oh, how come I didn't get that? And it's just like, if you think that way, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Right? Because if we don't work, Triple H said it the best. If we don't work together, there's no business tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just like, you could have got picked for any kind of... I can go on a whole rant on this, but I won't.
No, I mean, I understand where you're coming from. I don't think you're completely wrong at all. I don't think you've said anything that's irrational or more or less out of context. Like, it's true. I appreciated wrestling because I learned a lot about storytelling from it. Yeah. For acting purposes and like thinking up stories for film ideas, for plays, for movies that I've previously watched, and I'm thinking, it's all about creating characters with depth, with story, and surrounding them with other characters that have depth and story to kind of make them all connect together.
Hell, even what's his name? I don't mean to cut you off.
No.
What's his name? He's a writer. He's a director. he did this documentary called Wrestling Isn't Wrestling, and he looked at the whole story of Triple H.
Oh boy, you got me spent. I didn't even know this though.
When I'm forgetting his name, like when Triple H first started and just the progression of his character. Oh, it's great. It's a great documentary.
Are you talking
can find
about
it on YouTube.
WWE star? Because he was in WCW.
He was in WCW,
right?
but this is all WWF, WWE.
Because that's when he went with. It was Hunter Hirsch Helmsley. He was this like whole like he looked like he was
a
like,
blue blood kind of like Connecticut fancy. Yeah.
One of those like
he went from there to
Dr. Fraser Crane type of kind of guys. Mind you, Fraser didn't have his nose right up to the sky the way they were making Triple H's character at the time when he first debuted.
Yeah, but the whole point of the documentary was because it's
New England, very New England upper class.
Because wrestling isn't wrestling. He was talking about the character and the story arc of just Triple H from beginning to end.
Right, I got you.
Yeah.
I didn't know that existed, though.
Yeah.
I had no idea. This was like a separate studio who did this?
Separate studio, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, and he just did, I forget his name.
I'm sure it'll come back.
It'll come.
But yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. And I would love to see. I'm excited for October. Is going to be a crazy month. I mean, obviously they just started now with this past week with NXT finally getting it on a network TV. Because you could tell. I don't know why they were doing it so much with the Street Profits, with getting them always on Raw and even sometimes on SmackDown and having like a backstage segment.
Yeah.
But, anytime I rest the WWE crowd, when an NXT guy would come out, you'd have to have the commentary team basically giving you a 411 on who this guy is. So you could tell, I don't know what I really don't know what the subscriber base numbers are in the States for the network.
Right.
I really don't. I hear it's massive outside the States.
Yeah.
But in terms of inside the United States, I don't think it's that big of a number. I don't even know if they have like more than 1 million or something. And I could be wrong. I just remember hearing like some weird statistic that it's not that very large in the United States. So if that's the case, and NXT was the only way you could see it was on the network, well, you're not really getting the greatest exposure.
No.
Which is unfortunate because again, the talent pool in NXT is great. The storytelling is phenomenal, and the athleticism is jaw dropping.
Right.
And anyone who doesn't understand the business and wants to say whatever the cliches they want to call this type of business, that's on them.
Now you remind me of something else about the NXT show. What I hate, what Raw and SmackDown always does, when it goes to commercial, like nothing, like one wrestler could be outside the ring, the other's inside the ring, and then it's like, okay, we're going to commercial or whatever. And when they come back to commercial, they're always in some kind of submission move.
Welcome back here live.
And it's always just like, oh, I got this guy in a headlock, or I have her in a sharpshooter, whatever. Whereas with NXT, they would like, it's like right, like just as like somebody's gonna hit a suplex, we're going to commercial, and it cuts to commercial, and you're like, oh shit, and then they come back and they're doing something else, and you're like, oh, what did I miss?
Well, with the NXT ones prior to this past week on Wednesday, their first everything else is pre-taped.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why I probably think they could for their own. They could probably edit it for commercials and then cut it to where they're going to be coming back from commercial.
Yeah.
And fix it up and church it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you mean 100% there. With Raw and SmackDown, for a long time, with the WWE app, and if you had certain type of things, they would have you where if it went to commercial, you could still watch on your phone what was happening in the meantime.
Right.
And they were doing things in the meantime.
Right.
Like I could tell, like when I watched when I was 2017 and 2018 when I went to go see both times Raw and SmackDown were here. You can tell, you could feel that something had changed in the match. You're like, oh, I think it's commercial right now. They went to commercial during our Monday Night Raw segment or Tuesday SmackDown.
Right.
I could tell that, but they would do things because some of the wrestlers would actually church up or not to say church up. They would interact with the crowd more.
Right. They
would call out to the crowd. Like I remember Big Show was going to do the slap. He goes, "This is for you, Toronto," and I'm like, "This is Monday Night Raw." And I'm like, "Oh, it must be commercial." And that's why he did something like that.
Right.
Called it out to them, and I forgot who he chopped in the corner there, but I thought that was really cool. But they were doing that for a bit of time. Whatever you were missing in the middle of commercial break, if you had, I don't know if it was still at the time the network subscription or something, if you had just had the WWE app and you had your own login and something like that, you could still see what they were doing.
What was going on.
And then for a better part of this year, 2019 I should say, Vince McMahon ordered them. If when we go to commercial, nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
They stop.
That's why they did the 2 out of 3 falls match.
But I was like, it reminded me of when Family Guy did an episode of themselves
when they went back to when they cut to a scene.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
Why are they just waiting? Like, oh, this is before we had cell phones and stuff. So a cutaway, like, and Peter's like, "Are you really gonna have time to smoke that?" Oh yeah, it's whatever it is. Like, it's gonna be 7 minutes or something. Whatever he said. But yeah, I was like, wow, does that mean when you're at like a Monday Night Raw, they just, when it goes to like a TV commercial, they just wait there? It's almost as like you like left the controller there and your guy's just like,
is just standing there,
just bouncing in the spot. You have to press X to try to get him to move again or something. I just couldn't believe that was actually what he was doing for this year of it. They were stopping like the matches in the middle of like, which I thought was in poor taste, because for anyone who's there who's paid money to see you, you should be getting that exclusive, access. That if it's gone to commercial, the people aren't here to see it. They're watching on TV. We're here. We should be getting it. The same way that they've had dark matches, right?
Right.
Either before or after one of those shows, or after the off the air segments.
Right.
That there's been a lot of memorable moments. Those are special moments that crowd got to experience. I don't know why they would do that, but yeah, I don't think. I'm curious to see how it's going to go. I mean, they came out with a banger NXT for first week. I'm hoping to God the NXT people remain, content and continue to progress to maintain that energy. And I think they would, because they've never been disappointed.
Yeah.
I just hope to God the USA Network people. I don't know how much they dictated what Monday Night Raw was doing and what they were like showcasing for their things. I don't know how much they got involved. I don't know how much that they would talk to Vince McMahon and the rest of the creative team and say, well, we don't want to have this on our TVs or whatever. I really hope that there's not that much intervening of like censorship or swaying certain things. NXT's never been like gritty. Like they've never done like can't remember the last time I saw really hardcore bleeding or anything like that. I don't think that's what they've ever done.
I think with the network, because they were coming off like the Attitude Era, it's like, okay, you can't say certain things. But watching NXT, it reminded me of how can I explain this without it sounding too dull? It was an Attitude Era show, just without the
dial turned up or something. Like, you mean like the intensity wasn't as intense like as it used to be.
Yeah, like the crowd was like into like everything. The matches were great.
Did you ever see the pay-per-view, the ECW One Night Stand, the 06 show?
The original first one?
That one that they did, because it was Cena versus RVD was crazy. Like, remember how the crowd...
That's the second one then. Because RVD was injured for the first One Night Stand and he couldn't do it.
Well, whatever that one was, that crowd, that One Night Stand in 06, that crowd was pretty hostile. Like, they had no filter.
Yeah.
Like, I remember that after that year that I think Roman went head to head with Taker, and then he came out to speak. Remember, he couldn't get a word in for 9 minutes. He couldn't get a word. Yeah. They were telling him to shut the F up.
Yeah.
Asshole. Like, they were calling him everything.
Yeah.
And that's what that One Night Stand crowd was like for that ECW pay-per-view in 06. They couldn't bleep them out, because it was just, you could clearly as day hear them
all.
breathe their lips, because that's how close it was. Like, I'm pretty sure it wasn't that level, the crowd for NXT's.
No, they didn't get that. Because there's been, remember when Ciampa threw Gargano into the thing, the match?
Ciampa, that was going on for a while.
That was going on, like that. I don't think you would see on a TV show, but they were into like boo, yeah, or like they cheer. When the Imperium guys came out, they were chanting Walter, so they were into it.
Yeah, but that's how it always is for the NXT crowd. In when they were doing the tapings. Anytime Adam Cole was coming out and doing Adam Cole, baby, like everyone. That entire crowd, and he's heel, everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
When I see the guys and girls coming out for WWE, SmackDown, or Raw, some people are doing it for their entrances and stuff like that, but I feel like it still gets lost. You can tell that, I don't know, like...
Well, when
loyalty is, or the watch loyalty is not as strong.
No.
Because then again, they're jumping around, whereas like the Florida crowd, it's almost like you go to Universal Studios. Universal Studios is always in the same place.
Yeah.
You're going to see it. Like, if we were to go to an amusement park, then the amusement park isn't like a carny. It's not moving from place to place, right?
No.
So if I'm going to see WWE NXT, for the time that they've been doing for the latter part of how many years now.
Yeah.
It was only in one place, and it was in Orlando, Florida. You go to the place, you'd be there for however long, and they would do a handful of show tapings in one day with you being a part of that audience.
Yeah.
So you're there for the whole thing, and you're engulfed in that. And you're experiencing all these guys. You chose to go out of your way to go to that place and watch the shows, whereas like, oh, hey, I'm a wrestling fan. Raw's coming into my city now. Let's go and watch it. Like, I mean, it depends for how many people are casual to bring their friends and family and go.
Right.
And there's a handful of hardcore. There's hardcores everywhere, but you know.
Plus, more families go to see Raw and SmackDown versus NXT.
Yeah.
But also, it's a different feel and look. Right? Like, I'm watching a WWE product, but it doesn't look like Raw and SmackDown. It looks completely different and feels completely different.
Oh yeah, I honestly feel I know that you can tell how much of a separation there is between the production of what's going on with WWE for SmackDown and Raw in NXT, which is crazy to think that it's that case, because I'm like, you know, I figured Vince McMahon would want to have his eyes and ears on everything that's under, like, he's doing the Mufasa line when he's telling Simba, everything you see here is under our kingdom or whatever. It's like, I figure whatever is under his company, he wants to know everything.
A hand in it, yeah.
And the reports were that he was never really invested in that much into NXT, and I'm like, oh, okay then. I mean, like, I don't know why. Like, it's got a huge fan base, and I think it more or less has a lot more hardcore love and attention compared to your main roster group, which is a travesty because a handful of the main roster, if not 3/4 of it, is NXT product that came up, right? I mean, there's not too many people that are up on this roster that have never been to NXT. The only one I could think is AJ Styles and the rest of the OC guys. They all came from independents.
Yeah. Orton came from OVW.
Yeah, Orton never was an NXT guy.
No.
He's one of the last few. Obviously, Lesnar. The rest are pretty much it.
Zack Ryder, you can kind of say. Kurt Hawkins never did it.
Zack Ryder, The Miz, no.
Well, Zack Ryder did his little stint with Mojo Rawley as the Hype Bros. Yeah, but never, he didn't go through the
Cesaro's the same thing. Cesaro's dying matches down there too, but Cesaro never went through, like, he had to go work his ass in NXT and then get called up.
No.
Like, a lot of these guys, like, that's why I was impressed. AJ Styles bypassed doing that.
Well, he's a name on his own.
But see, right? I never understood how.
You know who bypassed that? Sorry.
No.
Which you think, like, why wouldn't you start there? Maria and Mike Kanellis.
They had been there for a moment, I thought, or did they go back down? No, they came out.
They never even went. Didn't
they come out together on NXT or WWE television, and then for a couple of weeks, and then they went to NXT for a moment, and then came right back?
No.
Was that how it was?
No, because I remember
they were really popular in the independent. He was doing really well.
He was doing. They were like the power couple. But I guess because not too many people remember who Maria was. Or at least the younger fans didn't, and that's when they kind of went.
Well, no, it comes to more of a cringe. And it's unfortunate. I hate to shit on people what they're doing, but it comes to more cringe now when they come out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, because you just kind of feel bad. Like,
I feel bad for
I feel like I'm pulling through for these people. I don't want to see anyone fail. I'm like, oh man.
At this point, the way they set up the storyline, this could sound bad to say, but the way they set up the storyline, I want Mike to punch her in the face. Just one.
That doesn't sound too bad. He could accidentally punch her in the face.
Right.
If you're like, I want him to mercilessly punch her in the face, hold her down. It's like, whoa, get this guy in a chicken wing and put him in the back of a cruiser.
And when he punches her, not do the whole, like, oh shit, I punched her in the face. Do the whole, like, oh yeah, I punched you in the face. But they won't do it. Remember that video I sent you with Try Not to Laugh, and it had the segment with Kurt Angle?
Yeah.
Which is hysterical, but they cannot make those kind of jokes or references anymore.
Honestly, I would love that way I was telling you Austin Powers.
Yeah.
Like from the first one where he goes, let me think, and he punches that chick out, and then she goes, Austin, why on earth did you hit that woman? It's not a woman. It's a man.
Yeah.
And then he pulls off, and it's literally like they just swap out the actress for the actor in the same identical clothes. I would love if they did that. Like, he punches Maria. She falls down. Oh my God! You punched your pregnant wife. This isn't Maria. And then they switch it out. It's R-Truth.
Yeah.
And he's got the 24/7 title. As much as that would be really like, you put your palm in your head like, I cannot believe who the hell thought of this segment. It's just that's more the goofy stuff, like in that sense. If they were to pull that off, that's the only way I could think they could get away with it. They're not going to have an uproar of like this negative energy of women being abused.
No, actually, to me that would be more. I would see them as the women being equal.
For a shock. Well, yeah, I guess that's where that spawned that line from the Easter Bunny to Mother Nature there. Women are equal. I like the way you think.
Yeah.
That got a big laugh at the premiere.
Yeah, it did.
Actually,
you punched me in the face twice.
Yeah, you punched me in the face twice was the line that got a huge laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that she delivered there. So, women are equal. And he goes, I like the way you think. That was a solid line. People like that.
Yeah.
We want some troops over there.
Yeah, that's why I always like when like I'll never forget Austin beating the shit out of Lita with a chair.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like that just made Lita even better. Right? That's why I always when they separated the women from the guys, they kind of got lost. Just like how they're doing with the cruiserweights, and it's just like you can't do that. Integrate them. And that's what makes, like, China wouldn't have been as big if she wasn't part of DX.
Well, yeah, right. I get it. To me, what I have a minor problem, which is because this is crazy because I'm a guy and I'm saying this, but I think the women are not clothed enough. I don't like that they're showing so much skin and they're in so much tight pants and stuff. Sometimes I don't mind that they're like the way Shayna Baszler's dressed is really cool and badass.
Yeah.
They had at certain points Paige when she was kind of had that gothic look that she was kind of all dressed in black, but she didn't have so much revealing like clothes, especially for matches. And they started like making her wearing less and less for her matches.
Yeah.
And at the point I'm like, I don't know. There's too much color. There's too much glam, and I don't know. To me, I didn't always like. It was cool. Ronda Rousey to me was always a badass. I thought even when she was in the Octagon for doing UFC stuff, but then even when she came to do WWE, because she always had her hair tied up and stuff like that, and I loved it because to me, you know what, we just talked about suicide dives and cringes. I get nervous because I'm thinking one of these girls are going to get their hair caught on something because their hair is just everywhere.
All over the place.
They got so much extensions too. Becky, Sasha, they have all these extensions. I can definitely tell Charlotte's got extensions. The only one who probably doesn't is Bayley because she just has it always in that the girl next door ponytail kind of style. And yeah, I think to allow myself, I like Natalia's look. I just like that she doesn't have to. They don't need to all have so much revealing for them. I
like Nikki Cross.
They're all pretty girls. They're all beautiful women. It doesn't have to always be. They don't always have to be in skin tight clothes. They don't always have to be. I wouldn't mind that because it's something different. It's something. I don't know. Call me weird for saying this, but I don't mind being teased if that's the sense. If we're going to tease about their sexuality, they don't always have to present that sexuality. They can be beautiful, they can be strong, they can be athletic all at the same time, and it doesn't have to have so much revealing at the same time. They can have both. I don't mind that because there's just so much it is a little bit overexposed at certain points.
Right.
Because sometimes I've seen Charlotte come out because she's just come in to cut out a promo. She's got a black leather jacket on, these black pants and stuff like that. I'm like, man. Like, I know that's just, outdoor attire, but if she had something similar to that, but it was more an athletic, type of dress, or, sorry, I shouldn't say dress, but, costume style.
Her attire.
That would be kind of cool. I wouldn't mind it. And the only reason why I'm bringing this up to segue is to say, we're going to talk about Bayley's so quote-unquote half-ass heel turn. I don't like that she still comes out to the wavy,
yeah.
They still keep her music.
When she first came out and she was pointing at the wavy tube man, I thought she was teasing and nothing was going to come out, right? Or they were going to be just they weren't colorful.
I would have loved if they came out and they were all black.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they came out black, she came out black?
Yeah.
And she almost looked like the, is it Enchantress from Suicide Squad or something like that? Could you imagine if she came looking out like the girl from The Ring?
Well, because she has the fringe like Macho Man, it would have been like a NWO black and white Macho Man.
Yeah.
Right? But they don't... even Sasha Banks, her heel turn, she should have wore something different.
But that's the problem. If there's a heel turn, why aren't you changing these people's songs?
Music.
We're all hearing them for one song and then hearing it for something else. Like Daniel Bryan with his music, he started out as a heel with that song.
Yeah.
Then he won the crowd over with the Yes chant, and he still kept the song.
Yeah.
And it's just been his song forever. Austin, even when he was a heel for it's still like he started off semi-heel, like, you know, badass, but then he won the crowd over with that match against Bret Hart when he passed out.
Yeah.
Was that WrestleMania, right? WrestleMania 14?
Was that
13?
Was that before or after
Or was that
King of the Ring?
Or was it yeah, that was after King of the Ring.
Yeah, it started with WrestleMania 13.
But he passed out and he was the heel, but then he won the crowd over because they booked it to, you know, for him to pass out that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's okay, but certain people always start out as baby faces, and then all of a sudden, because, you know, they didn't get some, you know, traction in their, you know, in their move, they go heel, but they still keep the same damn song. To me, it's I don't know, it cheapens it out, or it just doesn't. It's non-convincing. Like it doesn't make me. It makes me lose my connection to what I'm supposed to be thinking about these people if they're trying to get heat or whatever.
Right.
And I don't know. I'm trying to think who else was a prime example who was so obviously went to heel turn, but they still kept their damn music.
Dean Ambrose.
But Dean Ambrose, they I know when they broke up, like, yeah, they finally got their own song. I mean, that's why I've always had an issue with Roman. They never gave Roman a new song.
No.
They just got rid of the echo and
Sierra Hotel.
Shield. Dun 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 dun. But otherwise, he was still coming out for the longest time. But even coming out through the crowd alone.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. And then they kept the music, and I'm like, okay. Because Rollins and Ambrose at the now Moxley both had, you know, different songs. So I'm like, is Roman not going to get it?
Different, yeah.
Because when they did the 10,000th Shield reunion, that song would have felt a little bit more, you know, special.
Right.
Whereas it just became Roman's song all over again with just the Delta and all the call signs at the beginning of the song all over again, for God's sake. Like, I don't understand why they can't do that. Like, they make their own music. I don't know how you don't make a new song.
New song, yeah.
But whatever. That's at least I'll put that in my mind for whenever I have to turn a character heel. That like I know how I'll change that much.
Yeah.
Music.
Well, what's interesting with Bray Wyatt's song is it's still the same song but done differently. For when he comes out as the Fiend.
Did he wrestle yet?
Yeah.
He had what match did he? Oh, with the I missed it.
I missed Finn Balor at.
I didn't watch that because that's the night I flew to Italy and I didn't have the network,
yeah.
so I missed his match against Balor.
The first match back.
Because I've seen obviously all the Firefly Funhouse stuff.
Yeah.
And then a lot of his assaults on different
Mick
people.
Foley and all that. Yeah,
I've seen those, but I just hear the screeching noise. I didn't know if he had a new song, and I didn't even know if he had an entrance.
Yeah.
Like I thought, if not, they just did when it was his turn to come in, like with a match with someone. All the lights would shut down, and he would just appear in the ring, and the lights would come back on.
He came out to. I'm not too sure if you saw the lantern that he has, which is his face.
You know what? Actually, I do remember. I think I saw a still or a picture of that. And it's his own old, like it's his old head. It's his old looking head, like as the lantern.
As the lantern and the mouth's open, that's where the light's coming out of.
I know. Yeah, I think I might have saw something.
I was kind of surprised. I'm like, you got yelled at for Al Snow's mannequin head, and this is actual supposed to be like looking severed head. I'm doing air quotes. But yeah, they managed to get him up. The only thing is now he's supposed to go up against Rollins at Hell in the Cell, and he better win.
Yeah, if
Rollins wins, Rollins has been given the Roman Reigns treatment.
No, he is in Roman Reigns territory right now. Roman Reigns is looking better than him.
Yeah.
Because Roman Reigns is not getting. I mean, he's still like they're treating it like it's the number one story on SmackDown.
Right.
But he's not getting overexposed and not being as thrown down our throats as much as it used to be.
No.
Whereas Rollins is, I mean, it's been a cringe fest for the Rollins story arc these last 2.5 months to 3 months, maybe even longer.
I've never liked Seth Rollins.
I loved his athleticism. I was annoyed with him when he was a heel back when he first broke up with the Shield because he was playing a good heel at the time. He was just
John.
Yeah, like he had that kind of just, I don't know, that voice and, you know, his laugh, and he was just like, this little, you know, poster boy for the authority. And I can't wait to. So I'll respect that heel part of him, and I felt terrible for the injury, and then I hated the way they booked him when he finally came back. He goes, I got all that hate mail, and I burned it all. They're trying to make him as a heel again. I'm like, no, that was the perfect time to turn him babyface to say, like, I know now what it means, you know, how much, you know, the physical body can handle its limits, but that's neither here or there. That's in the past. It's not what I would have done with the character, because I think the character he came out to a shitload of cheers. It's the same way that Sasha Banks no one really wants to boo Sasha Banks. We all like her.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to boo her as a heel.
Yeah.
I know she's trying to get that heel heat with Becky and stuff like that. But we all really like her. We know what she's gone through, so it's difficult to have that heat, that natural like heat. While we hate you, we can't wait to tune in to watch you get your comeuppance. Yeah, there's those certain people that we have so much, respect and admiration for what they do, that it's like, it's kind of difficult to kind of go against them. But at this point now, he's come to that end of the line. Overexposure. They rebooked WrestleMania all over again at SummerSlam.
Yeah. He should have lost against Brock.
Well, now Brock's going to probably take the title from Kofi.
He will.
Yeah, no kidding.
There's no way.
Because it's Fox, right? Because Fox for a handful of time, Fox and ESPN have done more or less been the two big groups that do UFC coverage. And when Brock was on his run, like ESPN was huge on it, and especially Fox now.
Yeah.
Then now that Fox has the AEW kind of going on, no, sorry, not
NXT.
SmackDown, but an AEW TNT. But I know Fox would love, because Brock Lesnar is a huge international face. They would love to have him. Hey, we want, for this show that we're airing on Fridays, we would love to have Brock obviously have the title. Because everyone thought it might have been Randy, which would have been good. Fine. Randy's a big face, but he's obviously not Brock Lesnar big.
He's not Brock Lesnar, no.
Don't get me wrong, he's not Brock Lesnar big, but he's big enough. He's bigger than Kofi.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if we had to put it on like a network television, Randy Orton's been around for years.
And I think Kofi kind of, like, everyone is excited for that he won, but I think because he was still doing I'm the WWE, I'm the WWE champion. Here, still have some pancakes, he could have been a bit more serious.
I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't show that progression in I'm not. He's obviously he's older. Yeah, he's not like a little kid, but to show that maturity flip. Yeah, from being, a pancake tosser to just more of I'm the face of this brand, more or less of the company. I know they're trying to make the Universal title the number one title. To me, it's always going to be the WWE title. That title, even though it's had makeovers in the last 20 years, it still has so much history behind it.
Title, yeah.
If we trace it back, if you're going back down the who had it last, and then you trace it back, Austin held that title, Rock's held that title, Triple H has held that title. God knows, Cena,
Taker,
everyone has held some of the greatest of all time in
the Great Khali, Jinder Mahal.
Some of the greatest of all time have held that title.
Right.
So the ancestry of who's held that is very prestigious.
Yeah.
To me, it's always going to be the number one
title. It's probably
on the planet. I know they combined it with the old WCW, but then they never I thought they were going to make a blend of the two, and they never did. They just tossed that world title in. They still left the WWE title in the room, because for the longest time before the Universal one came out, they just had to call it the WWE World Heavyweight title, as opposed to when it was the World title and then the WWE title. Yeah. And I think that's what they'll be going now for Fox and for whatever they intend to do for SmackDown Live. But that's neither here or there for wrestling, and that's the only recap we have, I guess, for that sense. We'll only see what comes in full circle.
Well, the draft is going to come up.
Oh, yeah. That's a 2-night thing, right? They start on Friday and then they ended on Monday?
I think so.
When on SmackDown Live's very first taping, or I shouldn't tape it, very first airing on Fox.
Fox, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun to watch too. I don't know. I'm gonna have to see. I don't know. It's gonna be weird when they do their scheduling. Because think about it. If they let's say hypothetically it's WrestleMania weekend or any pay per view, but mainly let's say WrestleMania week. Mm-hmm. But Tuesday to is it not Tuesday to Tuesday to Monday? They're in the city that was going to be hosting the WrestleMania. Are they?
Well, that was what they did. Well, they stayed in the same city
because they have access for they have access for 3 days, 4 days.
From what I heard, now with the big major events, they might not hold Raw at the same city afterwards. It might go back old school where it's just let's say WrestleMania happens in Toronto, next night for Raw they're in New York.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. That Raw, those handful of Raw crowds in the last years have been really hot crowds because they're in the same city that they just had had WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And even then, because Tuesday was SmackDown's day too,
Yeah.
those crowds were pretty hot.
Well, it started with NXT on the Saturday, and then the Sunday was pay-per-view, Monday.
Sure.
Yeah.
When NXT was doing their takeovers, you had 4 straight days of wrestling shows. And
5 if you include, like, Access and all that backstage.
Oh, yeah.
Not backstage, but, like...
Forget about it. If you're going from Access to the full... all the way to SmackDown Live...
They're here, like, a week.
You're needing espressos galore.
Espresso!
You need an IV of espresso.
Right.
Pat, who plays Father Time, would be telling you that without hesitation.
Yeah.
You need espresso. As an IV, going from event to event, cheering on those people. Your heart may crash.
Yeah.
But the IV will be plugged in that'll keep you coming back up like The Undertaker.
Actually, a friend of mine, a coworker that I work with at Casa Loma, he was a seat filler for the SummerSlam. He didn't do Next. He did SummerSlam, Raw, SmackDown. And pretty much his was, if somebody on the hard camera got up out of their seat, him and his friend would go sit down, just so on the camera it looked like it was always a full audience.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, by SmackDown, he lost his voice because he was cheering so much. So he sat down beside this one guy, and this guy was just like, hey, that's my girlfriend's seat, or that's my whatever seat. And he couldn't say, like, he couldn't say it, but he every time somebody asked, he said, I work for the WWE, I'm just filling in the seat. But because he lost his voice by Tuesday, he was just like he was showing off a wristband, but he couldn't say anything because he over screamed. And you see him in some of the shots. He showed me some pictures, like when Randy Orton does this at SummerSlam, when he does his pose off the top rope, you see him in the background kind of doing a messed up kind of...
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Must have been right up there, right close and personal.
Well, I had he asked me, he's like, what are you doing Sunday, Monday, Tuesday? And I'm like, well, Sunday I'm working, Monday I'm on set, and Tuesday I'm free. He's like, oh, you have to be free all 3 days. I'm like, what? He's like, I'm a seat filler for you son of a bitch.
God damn, that would have been cool.
If it wasn't for me being on set on Monday, I would immediately went to everybody at work and be like, take my shift, because I'm going with Anthony to see this.
Dear Lord.
But, yeah. This is probably the longest podcast we ever did.
Not necessarily.
Where are we at?
2 hours. And literally an hour ago, I was like, we're at an hour. I don't think it's not too bad. Oh, man. We gotta get out of here for these poor folks. I think.
Well, this is technically the first. We were. I don't want to call it a hiatus, but the last one we did was before August 10th.
Oh yeah.
Because it was the Mafia one.
I think our last one we did, not counting the commentary one. But it was about 2 weeks before the premiere.
Yeah.
So we were about the third week of July, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah.
Was the last time we did. So this was just a recap on everything we've been doing
everything,
so far, and the exciting talks about Origins, especially what we're most excited for, because that's really right around the corner. And just everything that we were thankful for everyone's, such, wonderful positive energy coming to the premiere and just being there and being surrounded with all of us.
And the people who've been watching it on YouTube.
Yeah. Our thank you to everyone who's subscribed so far, who's given us likes, and comments and, very, very positive feedback. We appreciate it. It really helps. Yeah, we're trying to, we're trying to be better and make everyone else feel better to be better.
Yeah.
And that's our main goal, and to have great content for all of you to enjoy and work with us. And if you have suggestions, you like what we want to do, you want to see something new or something where we're happy to accommodate, we're happy to talk about that and answer your questions.
And we even have I know there's a few people I've talked with in the past that want to come on and just talk with us.
Yeah,
that we worked with, and
I actually got to say these podcasts are starting to catch definitely interest. We have had more want to have more guests come on for sure.
Yeah,
people were really upset and jealous of Kat that she's already gone there,
and I know who that is too.
Oh yeah,
Book of Mormon.
Oh boy. Yes. I'm gonna try not to sing it out loud. I'm gonna try so hard. Talented.
We'll listen to the fat white guy.
Sadiga boy. There, well, I did it there. But yeah, I guess we'll close it up for today.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Well, guys, thank you so very much for joining us today for another podcast on the AEW Wow, AEW. that's how much wrestling I was talking. It's in. Please, AEW, don't come after me for saying that. We can edit that. We can fix that in post, right? Studio audience, what do you say? Oh, come on! Gee, okay, I know I deserved it. I messed up, but can we? Jeez, cut me some slack, guys. Come on, it's Friday night. But thank you so much for joining us on the AEF podcast. We really appreciate it here. If you guys enjoy this, please feel free to subscribe. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Keep up to date with what we're doing. With our podcast, but also the progression of Origins and all our future projects. I'm Rob Star. That's all I have to say for now. Frankie D, you can take it away.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I'm Frankie D, the Holy Grail. And just remember, subscribe, like us on Facebook, hit us up on Instagram, and who knows, you might see some interesting things.
When you put it that way, I'm excited. All right, guys, we'll see you later. Thanks.